Did I stutter?
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
And welcome into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Tuesday. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell. We're here with Colt, Jack. It's Up Tempo all day today. And by all day, I mean 3 hours, 11 to 2. But it's Up Tempo, baby. Game day for the women against Virginia Tech tonight in the round of 32. How about last night? Kansas goes home. Bye-bye.
Easy.
Bye-bye.
Easy money.
Bye-bye.
Bad luck for the Big 12, though.
You're not going to play here anymore. You're going
COVID.
home. No more bubble for Kansas.
No more bubble. They're out of the bubble. They effectively had their bubble popped by the Trojans of USC.
Burst, if you will.
Burst, popped, all that. We got caffeine on deck today. It's going to be a good show,
Oh,
man.
baby.
Got a lot of life in the studio
today. The Big 12. That's where we're going to start today, because the Big 12 came out and they said, hey, we're going to come into this tournament. We're going to own it. This is my tournament now. I'm going to win this tournament. We're all going to win this tournament together. I'm going to die holding you.
And then Texas kind of limps. And like, okay, everybody but Texas. Everybody in the Big, except for Texas. Texas has got their own excuse. It's all right. And then Kansas. Now it's okay. Everybody but Kansas and Texas and West Virginia. You know what? Just Baylor. We got Baylor, and that's it. That's it. The Big 12 became Baylor really quick.
It was very, okay. Big 12's doing all right. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. And then before you know it, there is one Big 12 team. There is one Big 12 team in the Sweet 16.
It was anarchy because you have the best player in the country, and by a lot of people's standards, Cade Cunningham, right? So he's going to take over the tournament, right? He's going to be the man. He's going to prove why he's number one overall pick, and then Oklahoma State loses two. It was kind of like you kind of look around, and it's like Hunger Games. It was really like the Hunger Games, and just all of a sudden, just Baylor.
What happened to the Big 12?
I don't know, because what were they, 6-1 in the first round? And they looked good, too. Yeah. Like, everyone looked good except for Texas, obviously, but everyone looked, like, convincing. Even Kansas kind of turned it on at the end against Eastern Washington. They didn't look great to start, but you're like, okay, COVID, maybe they're going to kick it up, let them get into a rhythm, and then just bam! USC.
You're done. Your season's over.
See ya.
Scotty B. the Baylor King says not only did Big 12 look bad with one Sweet 16 team, but Big 10 looks bad too with one Sweet 16 team. It's horrendous how poorly. And the Pac-12, they were like, yeah, you don't think we're good? We are good. We're gonna win all the games.
Dude.
And they did.
Dude, I said put some respect on the Pac-12's name. How about Bill Walton has 5 Pac-12 teams in his Final Four?
Yeah.
He might be the most underrated analyst in all of sports media.
USC, Oregon out of the Pac-12. Colorado did end up falling, but UCLA out of the Pac-12 advanced. And then you've got, if I can miss it, Oregon State. Oregon State also out of the Pac-12 advanced. Four Sweet 16 teams are from the Pac-12.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you even say to that? Because I'm just kind of shrugging my shoulders. I wasn't thinking anything about Oregon State before this tournament.
I say nothing. I didn't know Oregon State existed before this tournament.
I knew Gary Payton went there. That's about it, though.
Walter Payton?
He actually went to Jackson State, I think.
Walter Payton went to Jackson State.
Gary Payton went to Oregon State. All things considered, like, I did not have any of these teams doing that well except for USC. I do have USC in my Final Four.
The West Coast Conference, the WCC, same amount of teams in the Sweet 16 as the Big 12.
Stop it.
And it's Gonzaga. Gonzaga is their team in the Big out of the Big 12 that's in the Sweet 16. Baylor, the only one that makes it out of the Big 12. So that's four teams in the Pac-12.
Yep.
SEC's got Alabama and Arkansas.
Roll Tide.
And LSU lost to Michigan, Florida State in the ACC, and Syracuse. What's going on with Syracuse right now?
Syracuse is on a tear.
Why?
And the brakes have effectively been cut, and Syracuse cannot stop. They are full speed ahead on this road. And this car is just going full speed. There's no stopping.
Do you think if a person was to get in front of that car, that the car would stop for the person?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't. I see them doing.
So you're saying
I don't know.
Syracuse is strictly metaphorically, a vehicle on life's highway, and at any point in time, if you try to get in the way of that vehicle, you're getting run over.
No capes.
No capes.
None whatsoever.
Wow, what a metaphor that we built here today. It's strictly hypothetical.
Yeah,
though, right?
I mean, we just pulled that out of thin air.
Yeah. Right. So if Syracuse is the car of life, you best get out of the way because it's going to run over.
Do not go on the crosswalk when Syracuse is full speed ahead,
and you're not going to survive.
And if you're driving on the road with your bracket all nice and ready to make it to the Final Four with your Final Four teams, Syracuse is going to come. You might crash into something.
You might crash into someone
and die.
Yeah.
I mean,
who knows what happens in a court of law, really?
Right.
What it look,
because
we leave that to the courts.
That's an excuse. Yes, Syracuse has the excuse that they're on an adventure. They're determined, and when you're determined to do something, who can stop you?
It seems like Syracuse always does this in March, like 11 seed and just Jim Boeheim, the 2-3 zone for whatever reason, give people
Jim
problems
Boeheim.
in March.
That's a familiar name,
Buddy Boeheim.
Did Jim Boeheim ever do anything crazy?
I think he probably won a national championship or two, didn't he?
Maybe that's what it is. That's how I know the guy. Steven from Virginia is on the Impact Health Labs caller line. Steven, what's going on? You didn't call us yesterday. Are you alive?
I am alive. I will say the last minute and a half of any Baylor tournament game after R.J. Hunter is liable to kill me unless they're up by at least 25.
You know who else is liable to kill you?
25 is safe distance.
We're going to get canceled.
Also, I would like to say that if you are in the street and a car that is orange is driven by Syracuse, you're going to need more than just a super suit.
Yes, that is true. You need some force fields, as opposed to what Elastigirl said. You can do force fields.
There's nothing that's going to be able to help you when the Syracuse-colored car is rolling your way on a tear like it is right now.
I hope they keep winning because they are so good for content.
But I would like to say that I think y'all are about to ask people how their brackets are. My bracket was really good in the first round. I have a history of being really good in the first round, but once we get past that, it doesn't go so well for me. So I'm about the same as J.D. I feel like I should get half credit for Oregon over Iowa, because I said VCU over Iowa, but my friend has informed me that I only get 25% credit for that.
Okay.
Otherwise, Kansas and Oklahoma really let me down. Especially when the spread was 15 and Oklahoma lost by 16.
Yeah.
That really hurt.
Oklahoma didn't even cover.
Didn't have to do it that way.
So with your bracket right now, how many, your real bracket, mind you, my real bracket, like 20 games into the first round, 25 games into the first round, was at 99.4%. It is now at 33.4% today. How many Sweet 16 teams did you get correctly, Stephen from Virginia?
Oh, no. It's close to half. I've got to say that out of the first 32 games, I picked 30 of them right. The only ones I got wrong were the Oral Roberts game and Georgia Tech over Loyola over the first round games. But after that, everything, it's really, I had Oklahoma, I had Kansas, I had West Virginia, and I had Oklahoma State. So there are 4 that aren't in there. I had Texas Tech. So that's actually 5. I had 6 Big 12 teams in my Sweet 16. So we're already not looking good there.
The madness of March. None of those are bad picks either. Like all of these were very realistic picks, but March just has its way, man.
How many did you get in the Sweet 16 correctly?
I got 7.
I got 5. I got 5. I do this for a living. I talk about sports for a living.
I got 9.
No.
You got 9?
That's what's sad is that all my friends and I think that we're such experts, and we've got a couple of their girlfriends in our pool, and they are whipping our butts right now.
Dude, yeah, 100%. My girlfriend's in like the 90th percentile right now. And it is she has Baylor as her champion, and she is ripping it. It is unbelievable. It's really embarrassing because I'm in their family
pool.
I'm getting dogged.
That's not a bad pick. I have to say that I hate to say this, but like if they made the Final Four, like any game, like that whole week up to the Final Four and like until we get to like 2 minutes to go, I feel like we're playing with house money because I think I've told y'all, I was a Baylor fan before it became cool, and I know a lot of other people that listen to the show were too. And, it's very hard for me to comprehend how far this program has come sometimes. And, it doesn't matter if they have a top 10 class next year. I've been treating this whole thing like a celebration. To this point, at least, I went and watched the second half of the Hartford game at a restaurant. Once I felt certain that R.J. Hunter or Yale could not happen, I felt comfortable enough to watch the rest of the game in public. And then I watched the second round game with one of my best friends who I was not going to watch the game with if it was UNC. And I made him promise that if he was going to root against Baylor, he had to do it in his head.
That's a good. Was this Armstrong Sims?
The rest of these, I was like, I think I'm going to be sitting at my house with the door locked, like I'll knock on my neighbor's door beforehand and be like, it's going to get loud.
Yeah. Heck yeah, I did.
I mean, hey, Baylor's got a shot to make it to the Elite Eight. Steven from Virginia Bear Games question of the day today. If you could be a character, if you were a character in a TV show, which character would you be? So I want to know, like, compare yourself. Like, I remind myself of so-and-so. Who would it be?
Interesting.
Oh, gosh. I hope my friends don't hear me say this. Y'all ever seen that cartoon Speed Racer?
Yeah.
I watched that cartoon for like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And like, the funny thing is that Speed Racer is like the younger brother and I'm the older brother. But I was always watching it. And I swear, like, I've probably gotten at least 5 fights over my brother in my lifetime just because I know that Racer X is always there to protect his little brother. So, like, yeah, I'm probably somewhere near there.
Steven from Virginia, Speed Racer, and Steven from Virginia. The Bear Games, other Bear Games questions of the day today include the movie Madness, Disney movie Madness. First matchup: Lilo and Stitch or Princess and the Frog.
I'm taking Lilo and Stitch. I know that's probably not going to be a very popular opinion, especially with people that know me personally and people that I used to date. But you know what? I like Lilo and Stitch. Stitch is my guy.
James McGaw says Schmidt from New Girl. He's going to be Schmidt from New Girl. All right. We already got good ones rolling in. Steven, how about Nightmare Before Christmas or Hunchback of Notre Dame? Hunchback of Notre Dame?
It depends where you are.
I'm a Hunchback of Notre Dame guy. That's a good one for me. I'm glad y'all asked me about some of the Renaissance, the original Renaissance. That's like my time period. I'm swinging off a tee on that one.
That's off VHS tapes right there. Straight off the tape.
Chef's kiss.
I have those VHS tapes in my attic.
You're an animal.
Last thing, take UCLA for the Final Four. You have good odds, and they only have to play Alabama, who hasn't looked that good, and Michigan, who almost lost to LSU.
Michigan's
later,
fraudulent.
guys.
Yep.
Bye, Steven. That's actually not a bad call. UCLA could actually make the Final Four.
From a play-in game, from the last four to the Final Four. What a story that would be.
Jeez.
Only in the Pac-12.
UCLA Syracuse national championship would be the most
for
anticlimactic thing that's ever happened.
Dude,
in
I would be
basketball.
so juiced. I would go. If they play for the national championship, I will go.
Manchester.
Done deal.
All right. Scotty B. the Baylor King says, I did have USC beating Kansas on one of my brackets. I think Kansas ran into COVID at the wrong time, and then USC came out and destroyed them.
As did I, Scotty B.
That was manslaughter. And even
is
the
that,
court.
Is that a pun or is that? It was one of
even the court would determine that was manslaughter. Did you watch that game? There was no game to watch after the first. Okay.
They blew it out.
Oregon, blowout.
Yes.
Killed
And
Iowa.
Luka had 36.
Yeah.
He had 36 points, and they still lost by, what was
Someone
it, 15?
tweeted it. They were like, hey, this just proves that you can have the best player in the country and lose because you only have the best player in the country. Like, you got to have a supporting cast. It's good.
Works-cited source, Cade Cunningham. Site.
Oklahoma got blown out by Gonzaga. That was a blowout.
Yep.
UCLA, Abilene Christian, blowout.
Yep.
Creighton and Ohio, blowout, 72-58. Florida State walloped Colorado. Alabama looked unbelievably good against Maryland. Every single game in the round of 32 yesterday was a blowout, except for LSU and Michigan, which ended up being a really, really good
LSU
game.
had them on the LSU really should have won that game.
I think so.
If LSU could score more effectively, which I feel like that's the answer to any basketball analysis.
If we could score more,
they score more points,
win.
they probably win that game. But I mean, really, LSU plays such good defense, and for the fact that they weren't able to score with Michigan, makes me worried about Michigan going into this game against Florida State. I have Michigan beating Florida State before this tournament started. I don't feel so good about that going into the game.
How about USC was up 40-21 at halftime? Everything's clicking for you. You're a Southern California guy, aren't you?
Yes. I wasn't sure how to answer that, but yes.
Okay, Southern California guy, big USC guy. They were up 40-21 at halftime. Everybody in America, the bettors of America, were like, all right, this is the one. We're going to hammer Kansas plus 10 in the second half. I mean, you got to put, we love Kansas to outscore USC in the second half. USC comes out and outscores Kansas in the second half, 45-30. Final score, 85-51. Kansas was 2 fewer free throws away from having less than 50 points, while USC put up over 80.
They just had it going from deep, man. That's
bad.
We talk about it shooting because we look at the shot quality index. They both were, I think the analysis said based on the shots both teams took, 50% of the time Kansas wins that game, which I thought was, that blew my mind that Kansas missed that many shots that they should be making. And I guess USC just had it going that night, and that's what it ended up being.
USC looked like the old Warriors,
which makes me nervous for them going forward if they're gonna be able to keep that up. Because with shooting, it's just streaky.
BYU,
right? Like, are they gonna be able to keep playing at that pace? Yep. I don't know, but I'm rooting for them, man. USC's a fun team to watch, and I'm very glad they're in my Final Four.
Look at BYU up by 12 against Gonzaga in the championship, the WCC. It was like, okay, they got a shot, but you can shoot 75% and a half from deep, but that doesn't sustain. It does not matter who you are. I don't know if USC is able to hold that together, but next round, as you break down and look through the bracket in the next round, you've got Gonzaga and Creighton.
Yes.
I don't think that'll be a game.
Really? I have Creighton beating Gonzaga.
You have Gonzaga losing in like every round, don't you?
Actually, in this round.
In this round?
In this round, I have them losing in the Sweet 16.
To Creighton. Yep. All right, Creighton out. Creighton beats Gonzaga.
Everyone gave me funny looks when I said USC would beat Kansas, too. And when Colgate would beat Arkansas. And when Grand Canyon would beat Iowa.
Yeah.
Only one of those happened.
Funny looks you deserve.
Shoot or shoot, baby.
USC and Oregon. Okay, both of those teams played immaculate.
Yeah.
Who's going to win that game?
My bias says USC, but Oregon was not playing around. To have one guy go for 36 and for it not to even be a game, like that tells you something about what Oregon's doing strategically. They said, hey, we're going to let Luka get his, cut off everyone else.
Michigan and Florida State. I think Florida State's going to be an Elite 8 team.
I think so, too.
Finally.
I think so, too. I hope they're not for my bracket's sake, but Michigan just does not look good at all. Like, they're hanging on by a thread. In terms of trends, we've seen it with, who was it? Kansas not playing great in the first round, kind of stumbled in and got walloped in the next round. Same thing, I think, with Michigan. Didn't play great against LSU. I'm worried for them against Florida State.
UCLA, Alabama. Yep. Is that a game?
Dude, I would have said UCLA wasn't going to make the tournament based on that playing game, but now I'm thinking I'm not going to bet against them. But I don't think it'll be a game.
Mick Cronin?
I think it'll be a game, but I think Bama will roll.
Roll over them?
Roll Tide.
Just roll right over them.
Roll right over.
Baylor and Villanova. I think this may be one of the more lopsided games we see in the round of 32 or in the Sweet 16. I think so.
I hope you're right. I think you're right as well.
I think so. Arkansas and Oral Roberts, bro.
I don't know.
Are we going to see Baylor and flipping Arkansas?
I hope so.
There's no way.
I hope so. It'll be Drake Toll Day.
There's no way.
Will that game be on? It'll be a weekend game, won't it? If they end up playing,
it'll be like a Monday.
If we have up tempo today, we have Baylor and Arkansas. That will be an absolute blast. But Oral Roberts. I'm not betting against Oral Roberts right now. Oral Roberts, especially after seeing their promo. You kidding me? These kids are animals. These kids are all robots.
Are you? Loyola Chicago and Oregon State. Loyola Chicago is going to backdoor their way into the Elite Eight.
I'm for it. I'm pro. After Illinois already got bounced, I'm pro.
What part of the top defense in the country is backdooring their way into the Elite Eight?
By having to play Oregon State in the Sweet 16. They didn't
Don't
backdoor.
clown on the Pac-12. It's the Conference of Champions.
It is Conference of Champions.
12-seed Oregon State rolled Oklahoma State. I don't know. I will say
Oregon State's hot.
The Pac-12 is the Conference of Champions.
Oregon State's hot, but that's a good point. I didn't know Loyola Chicago was the best team defensively in the country. Like, that is unbelievable, and I'm surprised that translated so well to the game against Illinois with a guy like Ayodesumu playing so amazing all year long, and then to have him run into a bunch of guys from middle of Chicago. Like, I didn't see that coming. But again, it's madness.
Then Syracuse and Houston. I think Syracuse gets Houston.
I think so, too.
I think Syracuse gets Houston.
I had Houston losing in the first round.
I think Syracuse runs right over Houston, drives right over them. Statman in Waco said Baylor Bears and soon Baylor Lady Bears in the Sweet 16. March Madness has claimed many victims, but not Baylor. Play and advance. Jack Wheeler says the perfect comparison of the Pac-12's reaction to having 4 teams in Sweet 16 is the Paul Rudd meme for hot ones.
Is that...
Look at us.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Not me.
Not me.
That's definitely true.
Hunchback of Notre Dame is most underrated Disney movie film and doesn't get the love it deserves. Change my mind, says Jack Wheeler, our father.
That's tough.
Then Scotty B says, out of his 12 brackets, one of them has 10 of the Sweet 16. That's impressive.
That is really
That's
good.
impressive.
That's really good.
The others were 7 to 9. Creighton does match up well with Gonzaga because the defense in Creighton does have shooters. And then we have, how much does Nova concern y'all? Me, not too much. They may have an Army, but we have a Patterson.
Who said that? I love that.
I don't. Let's see if I can find a name on that. Is it
But
Cyberbear?
we
Maybe it's
have a
Cyberbear.
Patterson.
We have a
That's
Patterson.
a fair question. Does the coaching of Villanova worry you at all against Baylor? I think talent-wise, with Gillespie, they make you a little more worried. But in this game, I feel pretty good about Baylor. I feel pretty. I mean, are you nervous at all with? No.
I'm not very nervous at all. I'm not very nervous at all. We got
That's the Baylor
G-Dub.
Nation.
G-Dub, what's going on? What's up?
What's popping?
G-Dub, happy Tuesday.
Huh?
Happy Tuesday.
Last one of the week.
Happy Tuesday, man. Hey, yeah. Arkansas would be an interesting matchup for us because I've watched them a couple times, and that 7-footer kind of scares me.
Connor Vanover, the one that is the worst player on the basketball floor at all times when he's on the basketball floor. Fret not, G-Dub. He is
body.
7'4" and all of 145 pounds. Jonathan Chamochacho is eating his lunch.
I'd be down.
Not because he took it from him, because Connor Vanover didn't want it and just gave it to him because he's not hungry. He's 145 pounds.
G-Dub, you've awakened a beast within me.
But I do feel like we have the best four guards if you count Meyer or Flagler. So I'll go 5 guards in the tournament, or left in the tournament. And in March, you win with guards.
Yep.
I know Gonzaga can get by with Crisper and Timmy, but I don't think they're. If you run your offense through your guard, you're able to get more points because they can't double team you as often. So I just feel like Gonzaga is gonna get exposed from their guard play if they end up playing Baylor.
I hope so. I mean, will Gonzaga even make it to Baylor?
Because we can switch anything and everything 1 through 4 probably.
I think Gonzaga, once they play Baylor, that makes me concerned because you made a great point when we were picking brackets. Gonzaga will be battle tested. Now, is it going to make them more battle tested, or will it wear on them? Because they haven't had to play back-to-back full games in who knows how many months. So I think that's going to be something to see leading up to that game against Baylor, potentially in the national championship.
Gonzaga's good.
They're so good. No, they're so good. They're so good.
G-Dub, what else you got for us?
Drake, you said you were going to the spring practice tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am going to spring practice tomorrow, I believe.
So are you gonna have an in-depth breakdown for us on Thursday?
Honestly, that is a possibility. That said, I don't know how in-depth it'll be. I'm not a big the 4 technique is so stellar.
You're not gonna pull a Kendall on us?
Yeah, I'm no J.D. Pickell. I am no J.D. Pickell. I can't. My analysis will not be quite like that.
It's too much credit, but I'll take it.
Hey, JD, and I do have to say I'm sorry for the way that Craig and them were treating you yesterday because they were just absolutely obliterating your bracket on the afternoon show.
That's fine. I'm happy with who I am. Craig and them can tear apart my bracket. The other thing is, I have absolutely no idea how their bracket's doing, and they know how my bracket's doing. So I'm worried about me. They can worry about my bracket. I'm enjoying March Madness more than them is what I'm getting at.
Your bracket's so bad,
dude. Our brackets. You're 320. I'm 310.
Hey,
we're literally tied.
Hey, I'm a math major.
We're 10 points apart.
10 points apart. That's right. G-Dub, if you were one cartoon, I'm really not. I'm a math tutor.
There you go.
G-Dub, if you could be one cartoon character, who do you compare yourself to from a cartoon character standpoint? Who are you most like?
I'm gonna go with Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Sokka. Is that the big
tattoo guy?
Is that the
On
big
his head?
The big mammoth that floats?
Oh,
that's Appa. Sokka is Katara's brother.
Ah, yes, guitars.
Qatar. Gosh. This is one of the best TV shows ever made.
Yeah, I watched it when I was a young child. And then G-Dub, do we like Nightmare Before Christmas or Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Lock it in. And then Princess and the Frog or Lilo and Stitch?
Definitely Lilo and Stitch.
Lock them both in. All right, thanks for calling, G-Dub.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
That's so funny. See, I didn't even know they were going after my bracket.
I didn't either.
That's
we need
so
to go back
funny.
and rewatch that show yesterday. That said, I can see why they're going after your bracket. And I'm glad that I'm 10 points ahead of you, so they didn't go after mine. This is bad.
I have more teams in the Final Four. Or in the Sweet 16.
How many?
6. I said 7 out loud. I have 6.
Man, this is bad. I'm just now seeing this. SicEm365 contributors. Cole? No.
Yeah, where's
Oh,
Craig?
no, it's freaking Cole. Cole's number 1 right now.
Stop it. Cole, you're in your bag.
Wow, Cole's in his bag.
Let's go, Cole.
We have an anonymous caller on. One can only think.
Let's go.
Also, who's ALS?
I have no idea.
Ashley?
See, now I'm going to go.
Ashley?
Potentially?
No, I don't think it's Ashley.
See now I'm curious as to who he has.
Because he's Hodges Heroes. Hodges Heroes. Craig and Paul. Craig and Paul are down there. I don't see Smokey.
Let's see.
I don't see Smokey. Sorry, that's a different moot point.
2, 3.
Anonymous caller. Oh boy, cross your fingers. What if?
4, 5.
Welcome on to Up Tempo.
Okay, we're tied for number of teams in the Sweet 16.
Anonymous.
So come and see about that.
Anonymous caller, are you there? I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the word. You know the word?
Hey, it's Baylor. That will be on. So he is a long-time listener, but he has never called in.
Not a single
That'd
time.
be
Just
awesome.
waiting
I
for
hope
him.
he
Just
calls
waiting for
in.
him too. The caller's not there.
drop it.
Yeah, caller's not there. I'm dropping
There
it.
we go.
But they called in and the auto screen says Armstrong Snow Armstrong. So whoever it is, big Armstrong fan.
Yeah.
Big
Big
Armstrong
jack of
fan.
all trades on the motherboard today, man.
He is a jack
How
of all
about that? He's
trades
killing
today.
it.
That was good.
Absolute manimal.
All right, I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Jackson here, Cole's in here. When we come back, we're breaking down more on the Baylor and Villanova matchup, and you know what? We'll give some early prediction. It's anonymous caller again. We're gonna try this one more time.
Let's do it.
All right, caller, you are live on I'm trying to work. You are live on Up Tempo. Is there any way like we're getting a spam
We're getting spied
call?
on. We're getting spied
We're getting
on.
a spam call right now?
What if we just want a free
Yeah,
cruise?
Jack, day 1, and we've already got, it just keeps calling Armstrong Snow Armstrong.
Maybe Armstrong's trying to call in.
Probably. Armstrong, are you okay? I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell. Armstrong Sims is not here, but Jack is today, and so is Cole. This is Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84 and no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Sit down, Bob. I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. Pickell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back in the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Cole and Jack are here. I love it.
Yeah.
Today, this day of all days, Baylor women's basketball team plays Virginia Tech at 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. or sometime in the p.m. today in a basketball game that's in the round of 32 in the NCAA Women's March Madness Tournament. That game is in San Antonio. Did you watch any of the get to watch any of the women's games yet? The women's games yesterday?
None.
Interesting day in the women's realm. A&M was playing Troy. That's like a 15-2, and Troy had a shot to win the game in the end, and 2 blown calls back to back ruined the game for them.
No kidding. Which game was it where they called a travel when the girl got absolutely
did you see that?
rocked?
She gets wrecked. That's
That was
Oregon
a horrible
State,
call.
Florida State.
Is that who that was? Okay, that was atrocious.
I tried to find that. That was one of the worst calls that I've seen in college.
That was
in
so bad.
Any realm of any sports.
So
That was
bad.
what, Sports Nation that posted that? Unbelievably
Maybe so,
bad.
yeah, maybe so.
Unbelievably bad.
Good show, by the way, too.
Sports Nation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the old Michelle Beadle.
Oh,
and
loved
was
it.
it Max Kellerman?
Kellerman, Coward was on it for a minute. Marcellus Wiley was on it for a minute. There's a lot of characters.
I think it was best with Kellerman.
Really? Yeah, Kellerman was good. I didn't even know who Kellerman was until he
Kellerman
did Sports
Beadle,
Nation.
when they were both on that together with Wiley.
Yeah.
That was the peak of Sports Nation.
Where's
So
Beadle?
good, they put it on ABC.
Yeah, that was so good.
Where's Beadle now? Do we know? I haven't heard from Michelle Beadle. Is she doing E-News? I thought maybe she's doing E-News.
Really? Is Erin Andrews still with Fox?
Erin Andrews still with Fox, I believe. She does a good job, too.
All right, Jimmy Blower says, how fast will the new basketball arena be built if we win the national championship? Blower.
Tomorrow.
Here's the deal. I don't know that it would change the timeline of the new basketball arena, which is actually going to be Fieldhouse. What I have heard in what I've pieced together from Mac Rhodes and everybody that it's going to be like 7,500 people.
Wow.
Max capacity, and the Farrell Center is 10,000.
Okay.
I love that.
I love that too. They don't fill it. They don't fill it
They
anyway.
don't fill it.
Like, might as well make. I mean, Cameron Indoor is so cool, and it's what, like 10 people?
6,000? Yeah.
Like, it's a full crowd. You get like your family there,
I think the plan's also to get the fans closer to the court.
which is awesome. I think all good basketball schools have that. Like, you have a good game day atmosphere. Chapel Hill, Cameron Indoor,
But where's
Mackey
it,
Arena.
Where's it going to be?
I don't know.
It can't be on campus. There's no space left.
I've heard the 2 proposed plots would either be somewhere in like the Farrell Center parking lot out by the baseball stadium,
or somewhere downtown, but I'm not exactly sure, like by the river.
I've heard downtown. I've heard downtown more frequently than I have anything on campus, which I would hate that though. I love the having an arena on campus just makes it better. You know,
it'd be so cool. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Downtown's about as close as the Farrell Center is to campus right now, in my mind.
I mean, if you think about it from a traffic standpoint, and
well, think about it from where the dorms are.
Waco's a college town in general, but I don't think it would necessarily be less fans if it was downtown. In my mind, it's cooler if it's on campus.
True.
Just in my mind. I don't know if that's...
I don't know about y'all, but I like to go out to eat after a game, like if it's an evening game, and hey, there's a lot of good stuff downtown.
Just walk. That's true. Walking distance of restaurants would be kind of cool.
Parking would be a nightmare.
Parking would be terrible.
Tough.
KFC Yum Center, nothing. You'd have to build a garage, an underground garage.
KFC Yum Center. Is that in Louisville?
Louisville. Yep.
Interesting.
All right. Today's game on the women's side. Baylor, after knocking off Jackson State. You see it put up a hundo. Put up a hundo against Jackson State.
Free tacos for everybody.
Is that how
I don't know. Probably. There's probably something you get 100.
What is that even? Is that real?
No. I can't confirm that's real.
Okay.
But I can't confirm it's fake either.
Baylor was up 21-10 after the first quarter. They outscored Jackson State 22-14 in the second and 29-11 in the third. They won 101-52, 18 points, 10 rebounds from Nalissa Smith, 24 points, 6 rebounds from Moon Urson, 14 points, 7 rebounds from Jordan Oliver. Later on in the show, we'll hear from Kim Mulkey. But how about that? I mean, you think that squad goes to the Final Four?
I was about to ask you, do they get tested before the Final Four? I think they're going to roll, honestly. I don't see them getting any resistance until maybe the Elite Eight. Maybe Elite Eight, maybe Final Four.
Yeah, Elite Eight, they play UConn.
Okay. So that'd be a tough game.
That'd
be tough. That'd be like a good matchup.
Paige Beckers is a freshman for UConn, and she's their best player. She's the best player in the country.
She's a bucket.
She's a bucket.
Paige Bucket.
Going into games this weekend, Baylor and Villanova on the men's side. That game takes place on Saturday. Also, I just pulled up my ESPN app.
Yeah.
First picture on there is of Matt Rule in Panthers gear.
That just feels dirty.
Never get used to it.
He was at the TCU Pro Day. You see that?
He was at TCU Pro Day.
That was weird.
Talking to TCU reporters and Gary Patterson.
Good for him.
Jeez.
Gone Hollywood on us.
Villanova and Baylor, that's the first game of the day. I hate the way they schedule these games. All right, let's go there. Do you guys can we collectively agree that moving the games back a day was the worst thing that's ever happened?
It makes zero sense.
Yeah, I don't know that I noticed it quite as much. I did.
Monday.
I think it's,
having games on Monday was no bueno.
Well, now they've moved it back for the second weekend another day.
I do. Okay, so I don't like the schedule, but I do kind of enjoy that we get to watch basketball on a weekday, like tournament basketball on a weekday.
I do too. I like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, but now the Elite Eight, like Cole just said, it's Monday, Tuesday.
Ooh, bad. Boo. Dude, someone's got to get fired for that.
Tuesday?
Yeah. That's got to hurt ratings.
And then they play the Final Four the next weekend?
Yeah, Saturday,
That's
Monday.
So dumb. That's so dumb.
Is this because of COVID? Is that because of COVID?
It's got to be because of something. I have no idea.
They've got to go back. They've got to go back. It's terrible. I can't. My mental acuity is so far off because of this. I don't understand. I love the Thursday, Friday first round, and then round of 32 Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday you just get to take a break, breathe a little bit, and then you go right back at it on Thursday. That's how it should go. That's how it always has gone.
I'm with
Gosh
you.
darn it.
Just for
Don't
TV
be making changes around here.
Just for TV, too. Like guys that want to have their pockets stuffed, why would you not have it on the weekend? That doesn't make any sense.
The idea that Baylor might be playing for their trip to the Final Four on a Monday night is just kind of weird to me.
That's gross. The only positive I could see is, okay, Baylor's played games on Mondays and Tuesdays and played pretty well. I think they were like 5-1 against the spread on Tuesdays. They're unbelievable. They were unbelievable on Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah. Will you go to the Elite Eight? Or would you? What's it going to take to get you to Indianapolis? Anything?
If it's a Monday or a Tuesday? Yeah. Dude, if it's a Monday or Tuesday, it's a tough deal.
That's a tough take for you?
It's a tough deal. I mean, how much are tickets going for, theoretically?
How much are tickets going for?
Let's say, like, dude, if they're south of 200, I'd talk about it for sure.
Really?
I think so. I mean, how far is that drive?
Are
we driving or
we're
flying? Really?
We're flying.
I mean, flights are cheap right now.
Flights are really cheap right now. Okay, Oregon State, Loyola Chicago is March 27th.
6.5 points there for Loyola Chicago.
Okay, I'm looking at tickets.
Oh.
Well, tickets for that, looking at $200.
Okay.
$200. Section 223, row 16. So, and then that tough. 200 goes up all the way to like $628 or more dollars.
I see a ticket to the Baylor Villanova game, somehow only that game, for $550.
Oh, what? No way. Mm-mm. Seriously?
Yeah, I can't do that.
Seriously?
See, the thing is, you get so much out of watching it at home. Like, it's cool to be there and say you were there, but like you can watch it with your favorite snack in your favorite place, perfect temperature.
You know why?
Be able to watch everything.
Yeah, it's at Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why it's so much?
Hinkle is magical.
It's like it's magical, but also fits like 7 people.
Have you ever watched Hoosiers?
Yes. Yes.
Arena.
That's where the championship game was.
Yeah.
It's a championship game.
Championship game.
So let's see. Sweet 16, there's no Elite 8. Okay. Lucas Oil Stadium. Oh, whoa. They're playing Elite 8 games in Lucas Oil Stadium. This says Lucas Oil South and Lucas Oil North.
Wow.
So they've sectioned off Lucas Oil Stadium 2 courts. Really? They won't do that for the Final Four, though.
I just wonder, do they play those games at the same time? Because if not, why section it off?
Right. What's the point?
Yeah.
They
I guess so
can,
they have their own
right?
locker room.
You
Teams probably
can't.
prepping before, though. You want to get shoot around and want to be able to have your own space. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be very AAU vibes, I guess, if
I'm
they
just
had.
thinking about, like, yeah, the players are used to playing with courts like that with multiple whistles, but
Look.
Yeah.
See, Elite 8 tickets, $132. $132.
We're going.
Drop that in my sleep.
We're going.
Head on up, pack your bags, going to Indianapolis.
Bet it all on Baylor -6.5, and you got yourself a little ticket.
Don't bet it on the sunshine. Don't bet it on moonlight.
Isn't it Blame It?
Bet it on the Baylor. Yeah, we're doing a little walking in Waco right there. That's what we're doing.
A little switcheroo.
A little walking in Waco. But Baylor Villanova. So Villanova without Colin Gillespie. Coming into this game, Villanova's 18-6 overall. They had an awful showing in the Big East tournament. That game's at 4:15 on Saturday. It's the very first one. Followed by that, you have Arkansas and Oral Roberts at 6:25. Oregon State, Loyola Chicago. Oh, I'm sorry. Oregon State, Loyola Chicago is at 1:40 that day.
Oh, okay.
Which is a gross time.
Yeah.
Far grosser than 4:15, which is still gross.
I like Baylor not being the first game, though, as a fan. I like that I can kind of ease into my basketball
I
day
like that
and
I
be
can
like,
watch
okay,
Loyola Chicago
Baylor.
beat the brakes off of Oregon State and then see Baylor beat Villanova.
You think they're going to kill them?
I think, here's the deal. I think every game will be a blowout except Syracuse-Houston.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think Loyola Chicago and Oregon State could go back and forth. Oregon State's just piping hot right now.
Loyola,
Just
though.
so hot.
Loyola, I think Loyola blows them out.
Loyola,
Loyola by
24
15.
24-hour fitness guy is a bucket, too.
Loyola's
and they're good
gonna grind
defensively.
them out.
You think
Krutwig?
so? They're good, man. They're
Loyola's good.
It's good. It's good versus really hot. Like, Oregon State is so hot, I wouldn't bet against them. But I do think Loyola Chicago wins that
Give
game.
me good in this one.
I think it's
Give me
one of those
good.
games. It's going to be close at halftime, but Loyola's going to grind it out to like 10-15.
I'm hoping we get some good games, man. Like, I hope Oral Roberts shows up against Arkansas. I think Arkansas will win that game, but I hope that Oral Roberts at least like has a good showing, because it's just such a letdown when like the David versus Goliath story, and then David just gets absolutely rocked.
I want that Scott Drew coaching tree matchup at the Elite Eight.
Yeah, that'd be fun,
Guys, what happens if Arkansas and Baylor play?
dude. I think. I mean, you tell us.
Get one of the
You
divided
tell
jerseys.
us. What are you gonna do?
I will. I would have to lock myself in a cellar.
What are you gonna? Yeah,
I'm not watching the game. I'm just going to shake. Just,
Is that a 2-bang kind of day?
That's like a 6-bang kind of day.
Really?
And if it takes me out, it takes me out.
I mean, if you go down, you go down like a freaking champ.
Let me give you some hypotheticals. I want to give you some hypotheticals
Love
and
hypotheticals.
gauge what you think. It's not even a buy or sell. It's just hypothetical. How do you react? Baylor loses to Villanova.
Pissed. It's a surprised. I think a lot of things have to go wrong, because if Baylor loses to Villanova, it'll be Baylor beating Baylor. It won't be because Villanova was somehow the better team, or just like, I mean, if Villanova shoots out of their mind, I think that falls on Baylor perimeter defense. So I think like it really does fall on Baylor if they lose that game, and I'm super surprised.
Hypothetical: Baylor loses to Arkansas in the Elite Eight.
Still disappointed.
Count me double pissed.
Still disappointed.
Count me.
Are you not sort of
having a very bad day?
Are you happy and also a little bit? Just like, is it? Or is it just mostly
Baylor's
double pissed?
A1, Arkansas's B2 or A? That would mean there's like an A2 and a B1 somewhere in there. But Baylor is A1, Arkansas is A2.
I'll be honest. When you started throwing letters and numbers, I sort of blacked out.
It's a hypothetical. It's just straight hypothetical. You said you love hypotheticals.
I do. I would be surprised at that too.
I love Baylor far more
Yes.
than I do than Arkansas right now. Like, Jack's a Purdue fan, right? You grew up a Purdue fan.
No kidding.
If Baylor and Purdue played today, you would root for
Baylor.
because you go to
Baylor.
Right. So that's who you want to see your school that you go to win as many games as possible. Now, when you graduate from Baylor, maybe that changes. I don't know. I can't speak to that.
I
You
feel
don't
like it
think
goes
so?
deeper. I feel
love
like
Baylor.
ties grow more.
The alumni. Yeah. So I want Baylor to beat Arkansas
Yeah.
by 35. I want Arkansas to win every game that's not Baylor.
Yeah.
But
Now, what's your surprise level at if Baylor loses to Arkansas? Because this is an Arkansas team that was, I mean, they should have been bounced in the first round. They were down by 14 against Colgate. Should have is a harsh word, but like they had the opportunity to get bounced against Colgate. Toothpaste, man. I ate toothpaste and threw it all up later that day.
Did you really throw it up?
No, I'm just kidding. That would have been a horrific call to make.
I don't know. I have probably 75% confidence in Baylor in that game. Yeah. I don't think Arkansas is not as old and experienced as Baylor. Their guard play is not as good, although their guard play is pretty good. They don't have a big man. They're decently comparable teams. The big men of Arkansas don't worry me whatsoever. So how disappointed are you if Baylor loses the Elite Eight?
I'm very disappointed. In my mind, Baylor
at this point
should run the table.
The way the bracket is gone, Baylor should not lose.
Baylor, if Baylor plays the way that Baylor's capable, even if Baylor plays let's say 80% to their potential, they will play for the national championship. Period. The end.
I think they should.
Point.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think because not making the Final Four when it's only Villanova, Oral Roberts, and Arkansas on your way, that's frustrating. Dude, that would be very frustrating.
Just lock in for 3 games.
Now, if it was Purdue, I would probably think it would make more sense to me. Matt Painter, seasoned good big men. I mean, that's Purdue. But here it's Villanova. I'm not very worried about Villanova. I mean, we say that. Anything can happen. It's March. Jay Wright's a great coach. How far does coaching get you? Scott Drew's on our sideline. Outside of that, though, another hypothetical. Baylor loses in the Final Four to Loyola Chicago. How disappointed are you?
Oh, man, that's a great hypothetical. I think as a fan, you're still disappointed. Playing the number 1 defensive team in the country, making the Final Four, there's less disappointment there. But at the same time, I expect this Baylor team to play for the national title. Ultimately, I expect them to win the national title because they are just that good. And if there's a window for Scott Drew to do it, next year you'll be good. But right now with this group, especially with Jared Butler being, probably out to the NBA next year, Davion Mitchell, they have the talent to do it right now. So I think anything less than a national championship, for me, is disappointing. I don't think you call it a loss of a season, but it's disappointing for me.
I can see myself final seconds ticking down in the national championship game. Baylor's down 7. There's just no way they're going to win it. And I've just got tears down my face, but also a big smile because you're like, we did it.
Yeah.
We made it here. We made it here. And while we didn't win, we made it here. I don't think I'd be disappointed necessarily if they lost a national championship. Now, if they don't make a national championship, there's going to be some angst.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little angsty. How about this, though? Baylor loses to Syracuse in the Final Four. Which is legit.
Yeah,
Syracuse runs over Baylor in the Final Four.
These are all realistic hypotheticals, honestly, at this point. Yeah, man, I'm still confused. I'm still confused. If they don't, I think if they lose to Syracuse, it would hurt more being the lower seed and being that Syracuse really just got hot in March and that was sort of their story. So I think making the Final Four, I'm not disappointed. But if you lose to Syracuse, if you lose to Loyola Chicago, those are teams that Baylor should beat on paper and just in reality with how well they're playing right now. So again, I think my stance stays the same. If Baylor plays near their potential, they should and will play for a national title, and all things considered, will win a national title.
Baylor loses in the national championship, but they lose to Oregon. How upset are you?
I'm really upset. If it's anyone outside of Gonzaga, I'm really upset.
Even Michigan.
Even Michigan, man. Because, we saw Michigan. Michigan's not that good, right? Were you impressed with Michigan last night?
No, they missed their. I wasn't impressed with them when they had the leading scorer that much.
Really? Yeah.
And now they lose their leading scorer.
They're very streaky. They didn't play well in the Big Ten tournament. Michigan, I think my biggest thing is if Baylor loses to someone who's just hot at the right time. That just feels like such a phony thing to me if Baylor can't get it done against the team that they're clearly better than.
Everyone's hot at the right time. If you made it to the Final Four, you're obviously hot. You're not cold in the Final Four.
Right, no, but if they lose to anyone outside of Gonzaga, I'm like, okay, we play this game 10 times, maybe Baylor wins 7.
Yeah.
If Baylor's the better team and they lose to a team that just has less on paper, I'm really frustrated. Anyone besides Gonzaga, I'm frustrated, I think. Even if they lose to Gonzaga, I'm frustrated, but as a whole, I think they should beat every team they play.
There's a reason why people were asking for, hey, scrap the bracket. Let's do the 7-game series, Gonzaga, Baylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what everyone wants to see. That's going to be the 2 best teams in the country. So anything aside from that, it's going to be disappointing for a lot of people, even for us Baylor fans.
Yeah.
That'll be one of the most hyped national championships that we have seen. It will be, that I can remember, there haven't historically been 2 teams go 1-2 as much as Baylor and Gonzaga did all season.
Yeah. And I wonder if a COVID year will perpetuate that. If that will cause them to be on even more of a crash course than before. Again, I don't have Gonzaga in my national championship, but Gonzaga is the best team, if not the second best team in the country. So I'm with you. I think they've just roster. You're just looking at the whole roster. You're not looking at who they've had to play. You're not looking at strength of schedule, any of that things, or any of those things. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what the people deserve. Like Gonzaga, Baylor is what the people deserve. They didn't get it. What was it? September, October? What was it when they were going to play and got canceled like 10 minutes before the game?
It was like November.
Yeah.
But yeah. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims is not here. Jack and Cole are, though. When we come back, we're playing Dead or Alive today. Then Simon Gersberg joins the show at 12:05. This is Up Tempo.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Don's Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don's Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
What you do in privacy is your own business. What you do in public with your truck, well, that's our business at Pickup Outfitters. In your garage, it's okay for your truck to parade around in the nude with no accessories. Hey, this is still America. But when you bring your truck out in public, it's just common decency to put an outfit on your truck. And that's where we come in at Pickup Outfitters. Put a cover on that bed. Cover your rear end with a bumper and a hitch, for goodness sakes. There are women and children on the roads. And guys, don't leave your tools exposed. Put them in a toolbox. Be proud of your truck and stand tall with a lift kit. Or improve your truck's posture with a leveling kit. Add some class to your pickup with new wheels and tires. Or dress up for a date with your new RV or boat with a fifth wheel or a receiver hitch. At Pickup Outfitters, we're dedicating to making the roads decent for all Central Texans. So when taking your truck out in public, remember your manners and accessorize it properly with an outfit from Pickup Outfitters. 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. Pickell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Tuesday. Coming off of the round of 32 on the men's side, and the women in their round of 32 today as Baylor takes on Virginia Tech tonight around 6:30. It's going to be a good one. We'll hear from Kim Mulkey later on the show and some of her pregame sound bites talking about that matchup tonight, actually, on ESPN2. You can watch the Lady Bears on ESPN2. Breaking news here. Oregon State President F. King Alexander resigns amid the LSU scandal. He was the former athletic director at LSU. Wow, what did King Alexander ever do to me?
There you go.
You ever heard that?
No, I never heard that.
Someone said like F. Scott Fitzgerald. Whoa.
Oh, that's funny.
What Scott Fitzgerald ever do to you?
Okay. See, it takes me a
You ever heard that? Yeah, I told her that. Oh, wow.
Oh, what is that?
I'm sorry, Cole. I don't think it's plugged in. I don't think it's plugged in. What?
Oh, and Ted
It
Lasso?
was from Ted 2.
Oh.
Ted 2.
Oh, it's in Ted 2. It's in Ted 2.
I thought you said Ted Lasso. That's a good. Y'all see Ted Lasso?
That's a great show.
Very good show.
Haven't seen it yet.
You'd like it, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't say that.
T-Rex says, will KU fans watch Baylor play Saturday on an 85-inch TV, or will they settle for 51?
What do you think? I bet they go all in.
You think they go all in?
I bet they go all in.
You think Kansas fans even watch the game?
I think Kansas is waiting for next basketball season. Like, Kansas has gone through it, dude. Kansas fans should just sleep for a long time. Like, everything with the football program, new AD. Like, they're not worried about football season at all. 100%.
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, what better do they have to do?
Yeah.
What better do they have to do at this point? Marshall Burns says, sadly, only 3 of my Sweet 16 teams have survived. Baylor, Houston, and Gonzaga.
It just takes one, though. It just takes one to win you your pool.
That's true. 32 points for a national champion?
Is that what it is? 32?
I think it's 32.
No kidding.
I think it's 32 or 64.
I think most of the groups I'm in have it at 64.
64?
Really? Yeah, because each round with a tournament challenge, you make more and more for each one. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
All right. Dead or Alive today. Do we have, Cole, do you have the music for Dead or Alive? I got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside. I don't even know what it's called. It may just be like random music 3. It's not even specific music. We don't have to use it. We just it plays occasionally, but it's always different music when it plays.
I'm not seeing it.
That's
okay.
fine.
Well, someone's gonna die now.
Yeah, Cole.
we're just joshing.
Cole's got to sing. Cole's got to sing it. How does it even go?
Dude, it's one of the things that I can't even like.
I can't either.
I can't imagine what it sounds
picture
like.
it. I can't picture it.
I think it's magical.
All right, first, Dead or Alive, John and... I can hear it now. Now that I said Dead or Alive, I can hear it now.
It's pedal again.
First, Dead or Alive, John Anderson, famous country music singer John Anderson, just a swinging. Met her
I'll say he's
at
alive.
Murphy's Restaurant.
What do you say? I'll say he's alive.
I guess I'll go Dead.
Dead?
I'm going Dead.
John Anderson's alive,
There we go.
66
There we go,
years
John.
old today. He listens to the show, John.
There we go,
goofs.
John.
Julie Andrews. Julie Andrews was in The Sound of Music. I think she was in some yogurt commercials there for a while.
Princess Diaries, wasn't she?
She was in the Princess
Dude,
Diaries, 1 and 2.
I think she's dead, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
I think she's alive.
She's still kicking.
She's 85.
There you go. I never doubted you for a second.
She posted a video on Twitter this morning of her just kicking. She was just kicking away.
She's like, Up-Tempo's about to be on. But I got my app.
Boop, boop, boop. Roku. Maya Angelou. Where I know why the cage bird sings. Maya Angelou. She's from Arkansas.
Oh, no kidding. Maya Angelou is phenomenal. Gosh, I'm gonna say alive.
Live.
Dead.
She is dead.
No.
Yeah, she would have been 93 today. Maya Angelou, Pride of Arkansas. I know how the cage bird sings. Giorgio Armani. Giorgio Armani, the fashion stylist.
Wow. Say dead. No,
Dead.
alive.
Ah, we have an alive.
I'm going Dead.
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 Giorgio Armani, thanks for watching, buddy. You're 86 years old today. Touch yourself. You're alive. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations.
There we go, Giorgio.
Everybody loves her. Lucille Ball. Everybody loves Lucy. Lucille Ball.
I think she's dead. That show's old.
Yeah, I think she's dead.
I love Lucy, though.
Dead.
She is very dead
Oh,
today.
Lucy.
She is not. But to the Ball family, thank you all for watching. We're very glad to have you today on Up-Tempo.
Yes.
They were excited to know that Lucy is still being remembered by guys like you and I. She would
I
have
was
been.
nervous where that was going to go.
She would have been 110 today if she was here with us.
Golly.
If she was in studio today,
She could
she'd
be Baylor's sister, Gene.
Richard Erdman, he played Leonard on the show Community. Leonard on the show Community, the old man that goes to community college.
I think he's still alive.
He's dead.
No, he's dead?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no.
That makes me sad.
He didn't finish his degree.
Am I wrong?
You're going to go dead? You're going to go dead?
I think he's alive.
You're going to go alive. Leonard has sadly passed.
No.
I was pretty sure I saw that on Reddit.
2019, Leonard passed away. He would have been 96 just 2 years ago. He'd have been 96.
Did he get his
Back Leonard's
associates?
reviews.
He actually got a bachelor's. He went on to graduate from Cornell. Believe it or not.
Good for
He had
Leonard.
eligibility and played football.
No kid. That explains a lot.
Anthony Edwards. He played Goose in the movie Top Gun.
I thought you were going to say Anthony Edwards, the young up-and-coming star for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, dead or alive. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves.
Anthony Edwards. I'm going to say he's alive.
Goose?
I'm going to go alive.
The goose is loose, alive.
Alive. The tragic car crash that did not end Anthony Edwards' life.
There we go.
He's 58 years old.
There you go, Goose.
Was it Jim Boeheim?
And alive. Yeah, Jim Boeheim almost got to him. He's the only survivor.
No.
He would have got away with it, too. Marlon Brando played in The Godfather. How old is Marlon Brando today, and is he dead or alive?
I'm going to say he's dead.
Dead?
Alive?
Alive.
Alive.
Marlon Brando is dead. Would have been 97. The Godfather. No,
Is that guy? You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding.
What?
Is that what he does?
That was good.
Is that the guy?
That was good.
Really? Pretty good one.
That was impressively good.
Thanks, guys.
Last but not least, Jack Carter, son of the 9,712-year-old Jimmy Carter. Jack Carter, Jimmy Carter's son, dead or alive?
I'm going to say alive.
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 I'm going to go alive. I got to keep it with the Jacks.
Jack Carter, son of Jimmy Carter, is 73 years old today and still alive.
There we go.
And his father is alive, and his mother is also alive on this day. Yeah.
Clean sweep. Clean sweep for the Carter family.
I don't know who won the game, but that was tough. There were a lot of... We were really thrown for a loop on that one.
That was a tough one.
That was a tough one. I'm Drake Toll. That's J.D. Pickell. We've got Jack and Cole here. We up next, Simon Gersberg of Shot Quality joins the show to break down the analytics of the NCAA tournament so far and talk to us about Baylor and Villanova's matchup coming up later this week. We're going to break all that down and more. This is Uptempo.
Many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Well, let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
All right, welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Oral, Rob, Hertz, Cynthia. Jesus died for our Cynthias. You guys ever seen that from is it 22? 22 Jump Street? The, let's see, got Simon hopping on here.
It was Schmidt.
Let's see. The George Stoya just posted and said, Oral Rob Hurts. That got me. All right. Today we got Simon Gersberg from Shot Quality joining the show. Just setting that up right now, making sure we can get him on here. How about this? Shot Quality breaks down analytics from every team and every game across college basketball. They currently predict games as well, so they got a bunch of stuff going on in here. You can log in, build a login, or sign up to look at their analytics and what they do with different teams. They've got current team standings, so they have team standings from last year that have Baylor at 7th. Baylor finished 7th in the country, and then this year in 2021, Baylor currently sitting at 2nd in the nation at right behind Gonzaga out of the West Coast Conference. And so we got Simon Gersberg coming on now from Shot Quality to join us, break things down across the NCAA tournament. And Simon, great to have you on again, man. Always good to hear from you and have you on the show. So thanks for coming on.
Oh, sorry I was a little late. I got the timing a little off. That's on me.
Oh, you're all good, man. You're all good. I think it's your computer, Jack. Oh, yeah, beautiful. There it is. No more echo. Let's see. All right, Simon, give me 1 second.
I think it's your laptop. It's off. You. Sorry.
There we go. Let's see. Sorry, Simon. We got a little bit of echo going on here. Oh, we fixed it. Yes. All right. Hey, Simon, thanks for coming on, man. Sorry, I've been working through technical difficulties just a little bit today, a couple kinks and bumps here and there, but we're ready to rock, man. So here's where I want to start. Round one. Okay, round one, round of 64, and then into the round of 32. I mean, madness across the board. So many upsets, so many brackets that are busted. How's your bracket doing?
Bracket isn't doing too hot. I've got a couple unlucky losses. Iowa was my pick, and sadly, yesterday, they lost by 15 to Oregon based off the quality of shots. Can't complain. They were supposed to win by 5 based off the looks they got. What can you do? It's college basketball. It's March Madness. Move on and go from there.
I mean, unbelievable parity across the tournament. And a lot of folks asked, hey, will the big teams dominate this thing in the COVID year? Will it mean great coaches, experienced teams win? But no, it's been just anarchy. You know, anybody can win this season as it is every year. I got to know, even last night, you know, Kansas, USC. Is that one of the crazier things that you've seen, a USC team winning by 34 in a game that they had a 50% chance of taking?
Yeah, so that was one of the biggest upsets I've seen in the shot quality system. Kansas fans aren't too happy on Twitter right now. I'm trying to weather the storm a little bit. But basically, based off the quality of looks Kansas got, it was a 2-point game. Like it really was a toss-up. But if you watch that game and you just see all the shots falling for USC and none of them falling for Kansas, it's frustrating as a fan, especially with one game and you're out, but it's just the result.
Man. Simon, from what you've seen in this tournament, I want to start kind of round of 64 with the big upsets in the games that maybe you, A, projected, and the games that, B, really surprised you from an analytics standpoint breaking down the tournament.
So the big upset in the first round that we had was North Texas over Purdue. Basically, the entire season, Purdue had suffered from a lot of 3-point luck where they just gotten lucky. They weren't that good of a team, honestly, but they just had a lot of lucky wins in the Big Ten. And North Texas was just a little undervalued because they were just a mid-major school in the Conference USA. But really, they had put together a really good games together for the last 10 games. And they were actually projected to win by 1, I believe. And North Texas pulled it out. So that was a big upset we predicted. One that we failed to predict, the Oregon-Iowa game. What are you going to do? That kind of busted my old bracket. But, yeah.
Wow. Without a doubt, I think across, whether it be your Oral Roberts or your, I was really floored that UCSB didn't beat Creighton. There were a couple of those games that I really, really loved, whether they be upsets that didn't happen or upsets that did happen. And let's go to that one too, the Oral Roberts, Ohio State. Have you crunched any numbers from that upset or even Oral Roberts upset over Florida?
Yeah, so Oral Roberts is really interesting. In that game against Ohio State, basically, they actually dominated the shot. So it wasn't like, oh, this is lucky for Oral Roberts. They legitimately got better shots than Ohio State in that game, which is pretty crazy for a 15 seed. But basically what happened was Ohio State just really wasn't that good. That was something the system picked up on. They were the 30th ranked team in the country before the game. But obviously we didn't have Oral Roberts beating them because they were probably the 100th ranked team. But in that game, Ohio State actually lost the shots to a 15 seed, which is pretty insane. And then same thing with Florida. Oral Roberts got better quality shots as well. Based off the looks Oral Roberts got against Florida, they're supposed to win by 7. So that's back-to-back games. Not lucky wins for Oral Roberts. They're legitimately beating teams in terms of the quality of looks.
Wow. Simon, with this Michigan team, too, kind of reverting down to the East bracket, losing one of their best players and leading scorer obviously isn't ideal going into the tournament. I want to know, with your shot quality analytics that you put together that a lot of people are catching on to and using even now in March Madness, how do you factor in those injuries? And maybe how does that specific injury hurt Michigan?
So because we value the data more recent games more, Livers hadn't played a few games before March Madness tournament, so we had some data on how they play without Livers. But the last 2 games, they have not played great. They were only supposed to beat LSU by 2 points last night. And then Texas Southern, one of the worst teams in the tournament, actually from the SWAC, which is the worst conference in NCAA, they were only supposed to beat them by 11. So I'm very concerned for Michigan, especially if they get to that Elite Eight game against Alabama. I'd expect Bama to be 4 to 5 point favorites on the shot quality website in that game.
Another one of those out of the East that was really shocking to everybody, I'd say, was Texas going down to Abilene Christian. Abilene slowed the game down, played the brand of basketball they needed to play to beat Texas. And was that any shock to you?
It definitely was. Also Abilene Christian got washed by UCLA the next game.
Yeah.
It was a shock because clearly, Texas actually didn't grade out that well on the site. They were the 30th best team, which obviously isn't great for their seed. But to actually lose the shot quality battle to Abilene Christian, who I believe is in the Southland Conference, that's pretty impressive. Abilene Christian legitimately dominated the shots against Texas, who has 3 first-round picks on their team. That's tough.
Wow. And then looking up from the East, over to the West, you've got Gonzaga. That has been obviously the storyline all season, that Gonzaga is going to vie for a national championship and be one of the best teams, if not the best team, to ever play college basketball. They're making that case with 3 of the best players to do it. With their analytics and shot quality projections, how do you even see them being tested before the Final Four?
So their only test, I guess you could say, Creighton's a little interesting. Creighton, I think basically based off the shot quality prediction in that game, Creighton's actually been not doing as well of recently, but I have at about a 9-point spread with that game, that Creighton Gonzaga game, which I guess is a little closer than what Vegas has at 13.5, I believe it opened up as. So that's a little interesting. But Gonzaga, I mean, the one matchup I could see them going down to is Baylor. I mean, right now, Gonzaga is the top team on the site just based off the way they perform, which makes sense. And Baylor's second. Baylor was worrisome. Like, I think like a week ago, they were like 5th on the site, but now they put together 2 incredible games, and they look like back in rhythm, looking like that team they were pre-COVID.
Well, that's exactly where I was going, Simon, over to the South, where Baylor knocked off Hartford 79-55, and then Wisconsin 76-63. That Baylor-Wisconsin game, have you had a chance to look at that one or go in depth on that one at all? Is that really the Baylor of old that we're used to?
It is. That's why I'm so excited. Basically, they only won the game by 13, but based off the looks they got in the game, they were supposed to win by 20. They are putting together really good quality of shots, holding their opponents to worse. They really do look like that team of old, and they've been climbing up the standings the last 2 games. They tanked. Like, Texas Tech was actually ahead of them in the standings before the tournament, which is pretty insane. I mean, whatever. Texas Tech was suffering from three-point, like a lot of stuff. But now Baylor is just skyrocketing up the standings and really looks like that team of old, which is good to see.
How about that? Another team out of the South, Texas Tech, that I rode all the way to the Elite Eight. I love their defense. I love Chris Beard. Mac McClung can knock them down. Santos Silva's good on the offensive and defensive glass. And then they just flop against Arkansas. I feel like that killed everybody, no?
That was probably one of the most frustrating and stressful inducing games I've ever watched in my entire life. My heart was just pounding. The Mac McClung missed bonus free throw. The Shannon missed wide open layup. The Edwards missed wide open layup, all within 1 minute. Mind-boggling. I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't either. House Monopoly money was all over Texas Tech. I won't put that on you even. I just love Texas Tech in general. And the analytics did too, and it just didn't work out for them against Arkansas. And now you see Arkansas and Oral Roberts. I feel like it's an Oral Roberts team that, and maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but there seems to be almost no one in the field of 68 that you could stack them up against in which they'd be projected to win based on analytics. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. I mean, basically, like, they put together 2 incredible games. So, can I share my screen, or can't share your screen on this?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not, sadly. Gosh dang it.
No worries. Basically, throughout their entire season, they had never put up a game in terms of adjusted shot quality. I'll go through the numbers quickly. I'm sorry if it gets nerdy out here, but adjusted shot quality, offense minus defense adjusted. They had never put together a game that was above the 75th percentile once this season. But their 2 games against Ohio State and Florida were in the 92nd percentile. So basically they're playing like heads, like way above their heads the last 2 games, like insanely well. But Arkansas has been doing that consistently all season in the 90th percentile or above. So basically on the shot quality website, they have Arkansas by 17 in this game.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot because like you can't value those 2 games just so much more than the rest of the season. But they're playing so well right now, Oral Roberts. It is a little scary.
Wow. I mean, Simon, being an Arkansas native, if my Bears and my Hogs face off in the Elite Eight, I can't take it. I really needed you to tell me that Oral Roberts was going to do it all over again.
The numbers don't say that, but you never know. You never know. It's magic, baby. It's magic.
It's magic. March. This is March on the bottom side. The Midwest. You've got Illinois, Loyola, Chicago. LIU, everybody's hyped them up. I didn't think they were all what they were cracked up to be, and here they go just demolishing Illinois. Do the analytics back that up? Do you like Loyola Chicago as much as everybody else does?
Yes. So they basically, starting March Madness, were the 6th best team on the website. 6th best overall in the country, and they were a freaking 8 seed. Are you kidding me, committee? That was just bullshit for them, honestly. But basically, against Illinois, we had the prediction as a 2-point game, which obviously was in favor of the Loyola Chicago spread. But sadly enough, in our bracket, that 2 points, we still had Illinois taking it and had them in the Final Four, the championship game. But Loyola Chicago took care of business with that 2-point shot quality spread. And now Loyola Chicago looks like they're going to take that region. I think they're the best team left there for sure.
More madness in the Midwest. You got Oregon State on top of Oklahoma State. Cade Cunningham and company going home. Did you expect this Oregon State team to make a run even past Tennessee?
So that Tennessee was one of those teams I actually really, really liked going into the tournament, but they just never could string it together. It seemed like they had all the talent in the world, but could just never put it together. The Pac-12, wow, man, like they are so good. Like on the system, I didn't even know where they graded out in terms of the conference, but I have to look pre-tourney because if I'm looking at it now, like there's around like 7 teams all in the top 25 I'm looking at right now. Like there were so many grading out so well that I kind of just missed before the tournament started. So it's kind of interesting to see how well they're playing out now in March Madness.
Unbelievable. Pac-12's run, the Conference of Champions, has shocked me without a doubt, especially because the Big 12 has been so poor. Speaking of the Big 12 being so poor, Syracuse over West Virginia. This Syracuse team now 2 rounds deep. It's a double-digit seed. Was this expected?
No. So I actually had them beating San Diego State before the game, but this was one of those games where Syracuse just got so hot and San Diego State just got so cold. So actually, like, Syracuse is playing way over their heads right now. I don't know if this is just Boeheim magic, Jim and Buddy, but they are playing like significantly over their heads, and I don't expect this to continue against Houston unless Boeheim pulls something special out of his hat. I don't know. This seems a little crazy to me.
Simon, when you're making your picks and you're breaking down things across the Sweet 16, what are some of the teams you like and what are a couple of these matchups that might be good? Because I look across, especially Saturday's game, and just see a bunch of blowouts.
Yeah, for Saturday, I think Loyola Chicago right now, I currently have it as a 9-point spread. Arkansas 17, Houston 6, and then Baylor, it's going to be around 8 or 9. Villanova is playing very, very well, but I feel like missing Connor Gillespie for this game is going to hurt them against those Baylor guards. So I don't see a lot of great games on Saturday. Sunday, I think will be a little more interesting, a little more tightly contested. The one potential upset, but I think will be pretty close, is Creighton Gonzaga. Creighton is pretty special when they get hot from 3, and with their guards, Zagorowski, Ballack, Jefferson, like they really could get hot and give Gonzaga a run for their money just because they have such an efficient offense. I'm really, really interested in that game. And then the rest of the slate, I think it should be pretty close on Sunday. But Saturday, yeah, you're right. There are going to be a lot of blowouts.
I love it. When you look at your projected Elite 8 and Final 4 based on the teams that are still alive right now, who are your top 5 favorite to make a Final 4 run?
Top 5 favorite. I like Loyola Chicago. I really do. Baylor, I feel like, is pretty safe. I think they're going to be big favorites over Arkansas if they both handle business. Then in the other regions, I think you have to go with Gonzaga here and Bama. I think so. Gonzaga, Bama, Loyola Chicago, and Baylor.
Loyola Chicago finding their way back. Porter Moser all over again. With this Baylor team individually, though, what is it? Are there any numbers, your shot quality numbers, that you look at and you point to and you say, okay, this is this is extraordinarily good?
It's the 3-point shooting because, like, they're shooting at an absurd rate, but because they've done it so consistently this season, it's not even luck. It's just they're incredible shooters. Like, it's kind of like a change of mindset, like, for the system and the grading because, like, no team has ever shot this well from 3, I think, and they're just consistently doing it. Like, even against Wisconsin, I think they shot, like, over 45% in that game. Like, they're just getting great shots and hitting them. As long as Jared Butler and Davion keep staying hot, like I think they're pretty much a lock to take down Arkansas when they get there.
Well, let's hope so. I really think this Baylor team's got a shot not just to go to the Final Four, but make a national championship run. And it sounds like if they go to the Final Four and face Loyola Chicago, they're going to be facing a team that's pretty comparable when it comes to analytics. I mean, those two teams should be a good matchup, the computer says, right?
Yeah, so basically, based off of the numbers, I'm pretty sure Baylor would be favored by 1 or 2 points, but it would be pretty much a toss-up game. So definitely no lock. Loyola Chicago is very special. And I think it's going to be a really fun Final Four. Like, I'm curious of, like, so, like, teams like Bama and teams like Creighton, like, they rely so much on the 3 ball. I'm wondering if they just shoot an absurd percentage against a team like Gonzaga, could they take them down? Like, we've seen some crazy stuff in this tournament, and I'm a little bullish that one of those teams, if they just get crazy hot, they could take down a team like Gonzaga.
Well, how about it? I mean, Simon, last question for you here before we get to our Bear games today, and that's when it comes to national champion. Right now, are you still favoring Gonzaga by I mean, I say a lot. Are you favoring Gonzaga by a lot when it comes to who's going to win this whole thing?
But currently, based off the numbers right now, Gonzaga is the favorite. They probably would be a 1 to 2 points favorite over Baylor and a 3 to 4 point favorite over Loyola Chicago. So they do have a little edge on everyone. But like I said, a lot of luck can come into play when you start chucking up all those three balls. So you never really know.
How about it? All right, Simon, Bear Games question of the day today. If you were one cartoon character, you've got to compare yourself. Like, oh, I remind myself of this person from this show, this cartoon, whatever it may be. One character from a TV show, who would it be?
I'm going Danny Phantom. I'm going old school.
Wow.
I feel like a ghost. I don't know. I'm going old school. I don't even remember Danny Phantom's powers, but I like that.
Simon Gersberg's going ghost. He's going ghost. We're doing our Disney movie madness. As a part of March Madness, we put together a bracket, and today's matchups include The Princess and the Frog against, let's see here. It's Princess and the Frog is taking on Lilo and Stitch.
Oof. Wow, that's a tough one. I'll go Princess and the Frog. We'll run with the Princess.
Locking in the upset on Princess and the Frog, and then Nightmare Before Christmas and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
What's the spread in that one? What's the spread?
Hunchback of Notre Dame is on a scale, so obviously it's percent, meaning the most, 51% to win. And right now, going into the matchup, I had Hunchback of Notre Dame by 40. I had it 70-30.
I got to go with the underdog. Based off the craze of March Madness right now, you got to ride with the underdogs. Nothing's safe. No favorites are safe out here.
Riding Nightmare Before Christmas. Lock it in. They're going to need all the help they can get right now. Simon Gersberg, thanks so much for joining the show, as always, giving us some of your breakdowns across March Madness, the analytics that show that Baylor's going to win it all. Always great to have you, though, man. Thanks again.
Love it. Appreciate it, guys.
100%. Talk to you soon. Simon Gersberg, Shot Quality. Go to shotquality.com right now. You can go in and create a login. You know, they run these analytics with a lot of college coaches. They get in with those guys, and they're able to give them insight onto what their team is doing and how they can improve their shooting across the board. And NBA teams. I mean, Simon works currently with 8 or so NBA teams, giving them different tips and tricks on how they can make their teams better and find better shots. Right now for Baylor, adjusted shot quality plus 0.34, which is better than anyone else in the country except Gonzaga. It's a plus 0.37, and adjusted shot quality has just gone up, skyrocketed for Baylor. They're currently ranked in the 99th percentile of teams in the country, and Baylor, he's got going all the way to the national championship. And you can look at matchups. So what shot quality does, they've got not just team standings, but also player standings. So they give you an idea based on these shot quality analytics, who are the best players in the country and why they're the best players in the country. Find predictions as well. You can sign up and get all the predictions, and they're really, really quality. 60%, I think, success rate right now on the prediction, the predicting factor for shot quality. Find all your March Madness games and base your predictions off of analytics and hard numbers, stats explained, and different things. If you're a coach or you know a coach, shot quality is the way to go to get hooked up with some of the best analytics that can be found out there. All right, Baylor, Villanova. Coming up this Saturday, you've got two teams, 18-6 Villanova, number 5 seed out of the South region. Baylor, the 1 seed, 24-2. It's Jeremiah Robinson Earl for Villanova. 16 points, 8.3 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and he shoots the ball 50% from the field. He turns the ball over 2 times per game compared to he turns the ball over, 1.6 times per game compared to his 2.2 assists this season. He's the guy to stop for Baylor, and shot quality would back that up, that the Bears, that's the key to Baylor winning the game, is stopping Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Not only is he their leading scorer, but he is also their leading rebounder, 8.3 rebounds per game, the big forward for Villanova. And then Colin Gillespie led the team in assists. He's 14 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, 4.6 assists. He won a national championship with Villanova not long ago, and now hurt, not playing in the NCAA tournament. Villanova, I would say, limps in to play Baylor based on the way they played in the Big East tournament, but no, it's going to be, they're rolling on all cylinders after winning in round 1 against Winthrop and then knocking off in round 2 North Texas. Now, outside of those guys for Villanova, you got to look on the Baylor side. Jared Butler, 17 points per game. Butler, 48% shooting from the field, and then 78% at the free throw line. Jeremiah Robinson Earl is at 72% at the free throw line. Jared Butler this season, a candidate for Naismith Player of the Year, finalist for Naismith Player of the Year, which also, it broke earlier that Davion Mitchell is in the top 4 finalist for Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Butler, 17 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, 5 assists, shoots at 48% clip this season from deep, 42% three-point shooter. Jared Butler is going to be a key factor. He played 29 minutes against Wisconsin, had 16 points, just 1 turnover compared to 2 assists, 4 rebounds. He had 4 fouls, though. That's the big thing. It's going to come down to how well can Baylor's bigs control the forward Jeremiah Robinson Earl. How well can Jared Butler score? And can the Bears stay out of foul trouble? That's been their kryptonite a lot this season. And it's one of the things that shot quality helps break down. That is free throw shooting and the ability to stay out of foul trouble. Jared Butler, we've seen Mark Vidal. Haven't seen Maceo Teague get there, but he had a couple of chippy ones in the Big 12 tournament and they're late in the regular season. Foul trouble. If Baylor can stay out of that and Baylor can make their free throws, they're going to be fine against Villanova. The same Villanova team, 18-6 overall this year. They lost out in the Big East tournament. And I'll tell you, when you look at the schedules in itself, yes, the Big East is good, but the Big East is no Big 12. Villanova has lost to teams like Butler by 8. They lost to Providence by 2. They lost to Georgetown. Teams were bad, whereas Baylor's been beating up on West Virginia and Oklahoma State and Texas in their regular season. That said, though, the same Villanova team played Arizona State early in the year and won by 9. They played Hartford, won by 34. They won at Texas by 4. So I guess you never really know. All right, coming up after this, helping us break things down across the round of 64 and the round of 32, not from an analytics side, but from an analyst's side. We have CJ Moore from The Athletic, college basketball beat writer. He's going to help us take a look at Baylor and what makes Baylor a contender for the Final Four this season and a contender for the national championship. And we'll take a look at the Big 12. What has gone on in the Big 12 where now all 7 teams who made the tournament, 6 of them made it to the round of 32, and the Big 12 ended up going 1-5, Baylor being the only team to make it to the Sweet 16 from the Big 12 this season, with the rest of them going down, most of which being in upset fashion. So when we come back, CJ Moore joins the show. We'll talk all things college basketball and get a breakdown across hoops as we roll into the Sweet 16 this weekend. I'm Drake Toll. We've got Cole, Jack, all of it right here until 2 p.m. today is Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm, welcome home.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership, online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
No capes. Do you remember Thunderhead? Tall, storm powers. Nice man. Good with kids.
Listen. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Dyna guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No kicks.
Here's Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims.
Welcome back to the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Tuesday, folks. Coming off the round of 32, the Sweet 16 is set, and we're ready to rock and roll with college basketball. Coming up this weekend, 16 teams remain still alive in March Madness. And to help break it all down for us, CJ Moore of The Athletic joins the show today. CJ, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, no problem. What's going on?
CJ, walk me through what the last 72 hours or more, I mean, just your weekend, what your weekend looked like.
A lot of sitting on my butt watching basketball, man. Just was kind of on the Kansas beat for the weekend, so was locked into those games, but watched as much as I could. And it's kind of strange this year, usually I'm out on location somewhere, and you kind of miss out when you're at a location, you kind of miss out on the rest of the tournament and you don't get to see everything. But it was kind of fun this year to be able to see almost everything and watch multiple games at a time.
So CJ, would you say you much prefer to not go to March Madness, that you're just fine being at home?
No, not necessarily, but there is a little perk of being able to watch all the games. But my favorite time of the tournament is always the second weekend, because I like being able to watch every single game if I can, and it makes it a little easier to do that.
Well, tell me, CJ, we'll start right there. You said you followed the Kansas beat, and that's one of the things that I wanted to get to, and why not do it now, A Kansas team with Bill Self that had you had that COVID issue, the little hiccup where you thought, okay, will everybody be there? Will everybody be healthy? They get into round one, struggle against Eastern Washington, find a way to win, and then against USC. The analytics show that Kansas should have been right in that one, but USC was just that hot. Shots didn't fall for Kansas. What did you see out of that matchup between the Jayhawks and the Trojans?
Yeah, I think it was just a really, really bad matchup for Kansas. I think the best way to attack KU's defense, the way that the Jayhawks defended like the last couple months of the season, Bill Self made a little tweak, ice and ball screens, kind of playing more no-middle defense, more like, a Baylor, a Texas Tech, not exactly like that, but more like that. And a good way to beat that is with the pick and pop 5-man. And that's why Eastern Washington gave him problems. And, Isaiah Mobley was a guy who had never made more than 2 threes in a game. He made 4 threes last night, and it just kind of got away from them. And then, offensively, this was a team that was a little limited, had to play through David McCormick. USC had the size and kind of gave him problems. And I don't think he was quite 100% coming off the COVID pause for him. And then, just offensively, they don't really have guys that can go get you something off the bounce. And when they would be bad, they would drive into traffic and go up against length and not really have a plan. And that's kind of what happened last night. And that's why the score got out of hand like it did.
Tell me, with that Kansas team, Bill Self and company, really there were a lot that didn't expect them to even make it this far at one point in the season when they were really struggling through their year in Big 12 conference play. And here they were with a chance to make it to the Sweet 16. I mean, did you expect their ceiling coming into March Madness to be further than where they got?
I think given the right matchups, they could have played into the second weekend. But it's not your usual Kansas team as far as the talent goes. And they really figured something out the last month of the season. And I mean, they should be commended for, I think they played to their ceiling. Getting to finish second in the Big 12 is pretty incredible when you look at some of the teams that they beat out, and the fact they were able to beat Baylor was really impressive. But I think that, just talent level, USC wasn't a 6 seed. Like you look at KenPom today, USC's up to number 6 in the country. So that was a really, really tough matchup. And, USC, I've watched them a handful of times this year. They're a good team. They played over their skis last night. I haven't seen them look like that, in any game I've watched them. They've been good, but not that good. So just kind of a bad formula for Kansas. I think if they're another part of the bracket, maybe they get out of the second weekend or out of the first weekend, but I don't think it's a team that could have got out of the second weekend.
Looking a little bit more 30,000 foot level at the bracket and things that have gone down so far, the Big 12 starts so hot, making their case for the best conference in college basketball this season, especially for how bad the Big 10 was. And then just the wheels fall off of the league in the round of 32. What do you attribute that to? Is it the madness of March or what happened to this conference?
Well, one, it's the madness of March, and the tournament is fickle, and you can have a great season and get the wrong matchup and face a hot team, and you go out Syracuse is doing things that Syracuse does not do in the regular season, and playing a zone, especially on the second game of a weekend in the tournament, is really, really difficult. And, it's easier when maybe you have a week to prep for that zone. But on one day's rest, I think playing Syracuse is tough. So you can understand how West Virginia goes down. I think Oklahoma State had a really, really bad matchup. If the way to beat Oklahoma State this year was to be able to play through your bigs, and not a lot of teams in the Big 12 could do that, but Oregon State was able to do that in the first half. And I think that was kind of a bad matchup for Oklahoma State. But still, it's a 12 seed. You just got to go out and figure out a way to win that game. So it was a disappointing last couple of days for the Big 12. I don't think you can say, hey, the league was overrated or the league wasn't that good. Just happens in the tournament. So hopefully Baylor can carry it on for the league.
And then the League of Champions. I mean, what in the world? The Conference of Champions. I was so far off base I didn't even say it right. The Conference of Champions. I mean, that has kind of been the joke of the year. Just here comes the Conference of Champions. And now they've got 4 teams, that are still dancing and playing well and just hot right now. What do you make of the Pac-12 being as good as the Pac-12 is right now?
Yeah, I mean, these things are cyclical. Like, I think that the last couple of years, the Pac-12 hasn't been that good. And so maybe people were sleeping on the league a little bit. And, you also look, we have the shortened non-conference. So it's a little harder to see these high major teams go up against each other. In the Pac-12, if you remember, like, there was doubts whether they'd even play this year. So a lot of those teams got a late start. So it's not like super, super shocking when you look at some of their rosters. Dana Altman is always tough in the tournament, and Oregon's been a team that's had success in recent years. So that's not shocking. But, I just think if you looked before tournament, and you look at some of the metrics, like the Pac-12 maybe isn't as good as it's played so far, but it still had teams that had a shot to make the second weekend. Just kind of everything has come together right for that league. So people are probably going to overreact to it just a little bit, but I do think the league was probably better in perception.
What do you think, CJ, when you look at your bracket and how you had things going down? I mean, how many do you even have left in the Sweet 16 with the parity of this year?
I haven't even looked. I think I filled out 3 brackets. So I think I've got a good, probably 9, 10, maybe 11 teams left. I'm not sure. But, I think it's there. While there were some upsets, the only teams that I'm surprised in a way that aren't here still, probably Illinois. But at the same time, I think really highly of Loyola Chicago, and that was the committee did Illinois no favors there. So, probably shouldn't have played a team that's a top 10-ish possible team in the second round for Illinois. So I'm not necessarily shocked by anything that's happened. But, the one team I had going pretty deep that bowed out really early was Texas. So that was disappointing to see. I think that team, I still think, has a top 5 roster in college basketball. Just kind of, underperformed a little bit this year.
Without a doubt. I mean, I had Texas in my Final Four. So that was the one that killed my bracket, the straw that broke my camel's back. But upsets and everything that's gotten us here to the Sweet 16. You talked about some of your biggest surprises. Baylor thus far, beating Hartford and then looking really, really solid against Wisconsin. I mean, are you surprised at how Baylor looks right now at all from the eye test?
No, not at all. I mean, I think really highly of Baylor. That is my national title pick from the preseason, and I've stuck with it. I think what's encouraging for Baylor fans should be that the defense is looking more like Baylor's defense. And, I talked to Scott Drew last week, and he mentioned to me that, that they played so many games in a tight window that they didn't really have much time to practice coming off that COVID pause. And, you have to practice things like defense. And he thought that was something that impacted their defense. And you see they got a week to prep, and they had some practices, and the defense looked better. So that's encouraging for Baylor. Took care of business the first weekend, and now it gets real.
Without a doubt. Villanova without Colin Gillespie, but still one of the hotter teams playing right now. And it's great coaching that has gotten some of these teams. You look at your Jim Boeheims. You look at your obviously Mark Few and Gonzaga are as good as they are with or without Mark Few, I'm sure, but having him is no slight. And now Jay Wright for Scott Drew to put up with Jay Wright in Villanova. I want to know, CJ, in your opinion, from what you've seen in March Madness tournaments, is it better to have that all-star cast, all-star roster, or an elite-level head coach to help drive you in March?
You need both, man. Once you get to this point, you need both. So Noah's got some dudes, even without Colin Gillespie. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, who I think they're gearing more of their offense towards, is really, really good. Justin Moore is really good. Jermaine Samuels is a guy that's been around, is a good player. So I still think they've got plenty of talent left. Now you go up against Davion Mitchell and Jared Butler, and you don't have your best point guard. That's going to be tough for Villanova. But at the same time, Baylor fans know how hard Villanova is to play. They played them. I thought last year's game against Villanova early on in the season was one of the best college basketball games of the season. And I think Baylor's got a big advantage in the backcourt because Gillespie's going to be out there. But still, J Wright teams are always really tough to play, and their talent's still pretty good.
Without a doubt, I remember the Myrtle Beach Invitational those guys were squaring off last year. Just national championship caliber game between those two teams. And I'm sure both of these squads remember it because there were a lot of guys, especially on the Baylor side, that were in that game and played in that game. When you think tip to final buzzer about this Baylor-Villanova game, are you worried at all for the Bears, or do you think this is one where Scott Drew's squad takes care of business?
I think they take care of business. I think your biggest worry for Baylor would probably be matching up with Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. Do you put your 5 men on him? I think that JTT might be able to handle that. I'm not sure that
Flo Thamba.
My brain went south from there. But yeah, I'm not sure if Flo can handle that. So, do you put Mark Vital on him when Flo's in the game? Maybe. But that's, I think, the toughest matchup for them. But, yeah, I think Baylor has a better roster, has a better team, especially with Pickell and Gillespie out. So it's a game where the Bears should be able to take care of business.
CJ, I don't want to get crazy ahead of myself here, but say Baylor ends up squaring off with Arkansas in the Sweet 16, which I'm an Arkansas native. So that right there would be a conflict of interest for me. And without a doubt, that'd be terrible. Let's not have that happen. I'm a really big Oral Roberts fan right now. But looking forward to that game. What would you expect out of a possible Baylor-Arkansas matchup? Are you confident again in the Bears?
Well, I think, again, Baylor's got the better talent, is the better team. But I think it'd be an up and down, very, very, very fast-paced game. Shot making would be a premium. Baylor's got the better shot makers, but Arkansas's got some dudes that can fill it up. And I think that, it might be as simple as who can shoot the 3-ball better that day. But it would be a game played very, very fast and could be one of the more entertaining Elite 8 games.
CJ, when you work it down from this Sweet 16 bunch to your Final Four, your updated new Final Four, who do you like? I think Gonzaga and Baylor are pretty popular choices, but outside of that, we've seen things go back and forth around the rest of the regions.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga and Baylor will end up there. I think the bottom right of the bracket could go in many different directions. I like either Loyola Chicago or Houston to advance, one of those two teams. I'll say Loyola Chicago gets back. I think one of those two teams gets out of the region, but I could see the Ramblers getting there. That's a team that's just playing at such a high level. And then, I think Michigan will I'd say this more confidently if Isaiah Livers was back, but I think Michigan figures out a way and we get 3 1 seeds in the Final Four.
Wow. I mean, with the way that this thing has gone, it would be surprising to see that, just the normalcy of having that many good teams make it to the last weekend of the tournament. That said, they're just that good. I agree that Baylor and Gonzaga especially, at this point, lock is such a loaded word, but they both look spectacular. And I want to know, CJ, from your standpoint, as a beat writer following college basketball, ease the mind of Baylor fans that are still a little bit worried about this team. What is it that gives you so much confidence still in this Baylor squad?
Well, they got the best shooting team in college basketball when their defense is right, like it's starting to look that way. It's one of the best defensive teams in college basketball. So there's just, and Scott Drew does a really good job with this crew. They're unselfish. They play together. They keep playing like they played against Wisconsin. They're going to have a very, very good shot of sticking around to the Final Four. And I think, honestly, between them and Gonzaga, I'd say Baylor has a little bit easier path. Like going into the bracket, I thought Gonzaga had the easiest path, but the way USC played last night, like if they play USC and, USC's got some dudes, like that's not going to be an easy game. Evan Mobley is a huge, huge difference maker on both ends. So, if you're Baylor, you're happy those dudes are over on the other side of the bracket.
Without a doubt. And then, CJ, where are the holes? Where does Baylor still need to improve to win a national championship this year?
Well, I mean, honestly, if you look at Baylor's roster, like the only thing that the Bears don't really have is like an interior post-up presence. But that's just not how this team's built. And, you got to focus on what you do have. And they got great playmaking guards and wings and, bigs who are really, really good at pick and roll. So it's a great defensive team. It's a really good offensive team. I don't think I can point out many deficiencies. There's a reason Baylor has the record it has and has had the last 2 seasons it's had. So, there's not a major hole on this team.
I love it. And last question for you, CJ. I know you mentioned it. You said you've been riding with Baylor all season long. I got to know, even now, after seeing Gonzaga play in the tournament, seeing Baylor play their first 2, win their first 2, are you still riding with the Bears all the way, and how confident are you they win it all?
I got to stick with my pick, right? So Gonzaga is incredible, and that offense is incredible. I think it'd be a coin flip game. I'd love to see it. That's a game I've wanted to see all year. I think the one reason I give Baylor just a slight edge, and I think it's a 50-50 game, but the thing that Baylor has that Gonzaga doesn't is Baylor does have an elite defense and can really, really, really guard and grit out possessions. And Gonzaga just kind of wants to outscore you. So that might be the one little advantage Baylor would have in that game. Would it be a terrific matchup? I'd love to see it.
I can't wait. Hopefully we do. And then CJ, the Bear Games question of the day. If you had to compare yourself to one TV show character that you're like, oh yeah, I'm like that guy. That would be me. That's me in real life. Which TV show character are you going with?
Oh man, I got no idea. I got nothing for you.
Nothing. Wow.
It's just I can't think. I've never watched a TV show and been like, that is me right there.
Yeah. You're not Michael Scott. You're not going to lock in a Michael Scott?
No. I mean, my favorite shows ever, like, Curb Your Enthusiasm, I don't know. Somebody told me once Everybody Loves Raymond, but I'm not seeing that. I think they just said that because I was a sports writer. So, I'm sorry. I wish I had a good answer for you, but nothing pops up off the top of my head.
Wow. We'll lock in Larry. You can be Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'll take that. We can lock it in and just roll with it. And then we're doing in honor of March Madness, we have decided to do a Disney movie madness. Let's see if you've seen either of these. Hunchback of Notre Dame or Nightmare Before Christmas. Either of them?
I mean, I feel like I've probably seen Nightmare Before Christmas, but I can't recall anything about it. I'm not a huge cartoon guy.
You're not alone in the world. I have not seen either of them. So you've locked in the same as I did. And then Princess and the Frog and Lilo and Stitch. You've got to go Lilo and Stitch, right? That's got to be obvious.
I've seen parts of Lilo and Stitch because I have a 6-year-old son, and I've seen some of it, but I can't say I've watched the movie start to finish.
Still locking it. I'm going to lock it in for you, CJ Moore. I'm going to lock it in for you. Hey, listen, where you lack in Disney movie knowledge, you make up for it in college basketball knowledge, and I thank you for that.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks, CJ, for being on the show today. Hope to have you on again soon, bringing the Rockstar analysis. Again, that was CJ Moore from The Athletic, breaking all things down across not just Baylor, but college basketball in general, the round of 64, round of 32, and moving forward. CJ has Baylor, Gonzaga, Michigan, and now Loyola Chicago, Sister Jean and company, making it all the way to the Final Four, and Baylor and Gonzaga playing for a national championship in which he gives the Bears the defensive edge. All right, how about this? Baylor and Wisconsin, 76-63 final. The Bears up 13 at halftime after the Adam Flagler 3. Win the game by 13, scoring 34 and 34 in the second half, along with Wisconsin tied things up. It was the Matthew Meyer show. He led the team in points. Matthew Meyer was 17 for Baylor, shooting 5 for 12, 5 of 6 the free throw line. It was MMT. Matthew Meyer time. Mark Vital, 7 rebounds, 5 defensively, 2 on the offensive glass. And then Davion Mitchell, 8 assists compared to just 3 turnovers, 2 charges, and a carry, which I still don't get the carries, but they keep calling it on Davion Mitchell, and Baylor ends up taking the win 76-63 thanks to those guys playing so well. Another aspect of the game that CJ mentioned was the defense and how well Baylor played defensively, holding Wisconsin to just 63 points. And when you look at this Wisconsin team, historically and in the last decade, they've been really good. They put up 85 against North Carolina in their first postseason game. I mean, 92, 75, 77, 85 against number 23 Louisville. They beat Louisville 85-48 earlier this year. Won at Michigan State 85-76. Wisconsin can score with some of the best teams in the country. Baylor held them to just 63 while scoring 76 themselves. And it's that kind of defense that's going to carry this Baylor team into a continued run in March Madness. I'll tell you what, though. One of the things that I'd love to see, I tweeted this out the other day during the game. If Flo Thamba scores 10 points, Baylor could beat most NBA teams. If Flo Thamba scores 10 points, Baylor could beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. They could beat the Golden State Warriors, who are mediocre, who are not bad. They're pretty good. They could honestly beat LeBron James and company, because Flo Thamba scoring 10 points has been so rare this season. But when that happens, that means that Matthew Meyer's having 30, Jared Butler's got 45, Davion Mitchell has probably 35. I mean, Flo Thamba, if you can get more scoring output from him or more scoring output from Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua, the game changes. Or Mark Vidal even. If any of those guys puts up double digits, it's nearly impossible for Baylor to lose a game. That's the one hole, I agree with CJ Moore, where Baylor needs to plug, and that's finding a big man that can be consistent for this team, not just on the defensive side of things, the rebounding side of things, the knit and grit, but scoring. I mean, if you get Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua putting up 12 to 15 points a night, or that from Flo Thamba, or Mark Vidal doing that, you add a whole new aspect to the game where Baylor's guards have more freedom to shoot. Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, Maceo Teague, even Adam Flagler and Matthew Meyer have more ability to get outside, have open shots, because folks are sinking down on the big men inside. I mean, Adam Flagler had a great first game. He had a great first game, then he comes out with only 6 against Wisconsin. Matthew Meyer, 17 is a great game. But when you get that from Flo Thamba, when you get that from Mark Vidal or Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua, it's going to open up the guards like Jared Butler and Maceo Teague, Davion Mitchell, that you want shooting most consistently for Baylor. They got to tie that up. They got to tie it up and find a big man that can score and score consistently. But if Baylor does that, I do not see where they can lose. Granted, they may fall against Villanova in the Sweet 16. That's a possibility. Nova's got not just a pretty good guard play, but Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, who's a great forward. But if Baylor goes out there, punches them in the mouth with good shooting, good guard play, and then has Mark Vidal put up 15, or Flo Thamba, or Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua, not even all three of them, just one guy that can score consistently, they'll be all right. Another thing to mention, Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua. He got in a little bit of foul trouble against Wisconsin in the game. Flo Thamba had just 1 foul. Mark Vidal didn't have any fouls. That helped a lot, but in the end, it translated to Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua only being on the floor for 10 minutes. Baylor played small most of the game without Tchamwa-Tchatchoua. Flo Thamba played 17. He has been one of those guys that's just not talked about a ton, but I think the name of that game's got to change. I like EJ coming off the bench, but man, the scoring output has to be there for the Baylor big men. Otherwise, they could be in trouble when they face a team like Gonzaga, who we all expect them to see in the national championship in what will certainly be one of the more highly touted championship games in history, the two teams that were destined to be there. All right, when we come back, Morgan Uber joins the show. And I know you guys are going, hey, where's the big board today? We're supposed to be doing like the big board stuff with recruiting, with Grayson. Spring practice starts tomorrow. Well, in honor of spring practice starting tomorrow, we're going to bring Grayson on the show in studio tomorrow to do the big board. Baylor had a big recruit. They landed last night. Green light is a go. We will talk about that tomorrow with Grayson Grundhafer, who joins us. But today we do have Morgan Uber at 105 calling in from, a different location than she's used to, and she'll tell you all about that coming up after this. This, Drake Toll, Cole, Jack, is Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84, no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
I got breaking news here. We got Western Athletic Conference just announced they're adding several schools.
The WAC.
The WAC.
Okay.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
I think Coach Gundy would be like my guy that I would just like just the hair. Yeah. I just want to be able to see it flow when I kind of slam his arm down.
Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back in the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Baylor knocking off Wisconsin this past weekend. The women in action today against Virginia Tech tonight in the round of 32 with a chance to advance to the Sweet 16 yet again. They do that, it seems like every year. I don't remember, I think the stat's like 17 straight years. I got to double check it. But joining the show to help us break things down across March Madness from a Big 12 perspective is Morgan Uber. Morgan, thanks for joining the show as always.
Drake, great to be here with you. Sorry I'm not there via video, but taking this call right now from Keystone, and it's a nice snowy day. I'm sitting outside at the base of Durkham Mountain, so great to be here with you.
Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, tell the folks, so you're on vacation, I would assume, just out there skiing, right?
Took a little bit of PTO. Yeah, making this call between runs, actually, so timed out great, but it's been so much fun to be out here. This is my first time coming during March Madness, during the tournament. And it's, every place we go, I will say Colorado has been very strict about COVID restrictions, but I mean, it's on every TV, every restaurant we've been at. And the other plus is the late games, they're not too late here on Mountain Time. So that's also been really nice, able to get to bed at a decent hour and feel good, ready to go in the morning.
I love it. So this is one of the busiest times in sports, especially in collegiate sports, and vacation, taking some time off, but I'm sure you're still just glued to TVs.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it's hardly PTO. It's definitely some time off from maybe the day to day, but as far as basketball goes, I'm as glued to the TV as ever and still keeping up with everything, of course, on Twitter, social media, and all of that. So it's been great, kind of a good work-life balance right now that I have going on this week.
Morgan, it is so odd to me. The last time we talked to you, we were coming right off of the Big 12 tournament, and Baylor had just lost to Oklahoma State, and now here we are. Baylor, the lone team left in the Sweet 16 from the Big 12. I mean, for you, even between the mountains of the snowy mountains and Kansas City and the NCAA tournament, I mean, it's got to be a whirlwind.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty crazy to think, how much has changed really from where we were a couple weeks ago to where we're sitting right now. And, to be honest, Drake, it's a little bit disappointing from a Big 12 perspective. Obviously, if you're a Baylor fan, you've got to be really excited with the men making it to the Sweet 16 and the women looking as strong as they are. But I will say from the Big 12 perspective, for Baylor to be our only team still remaining, the Texas loss in that first round to Abilene Christian, great for them. I love the story of an underdog. But when you're a Big 12 fan, that was extremely disappointing. And I remember a few weeks ago, you and I were talking, how many teams we thought could make it to the Sweet 16. And it was amazing. We both thought, there's no question we'd have at least maybe, 4 teams, if not 5 or 6. So, the regular season that we had, definitely something really special in this conference. But it is March. Anything can happen. And the Cinderellas are certainly, putting on a show. And they've been kind of the big storyline here in March.
It has been unbelievable to me how few Big 12 teams, I mean, if you would have told me it was just one, I would have put down $100,000 that I do not have on there being more than one Big 12 team in the Sweet 16. But now this is kind of how it's all panned out. And I want to start kind of there in the round of 64 where we lost Texas. Who could have seen that coming? It's so much NBA talent with Texas, and they looked so much better this year under Shaka Smart, and it just didn't pan out.
To think that they lost against a team that really has only been a Division I team for 8 years in Abilene Christian. But you look at their stats and what they've been able to do this season, Drake. They lead the entire country in turnovers, and that's exactly what they were able to do to the Longhorns. Just that aggressive defense. That's how they won the game. Season high for Texas with 23 turnovers, which to me, it was just super uncharacteristic of a veteran, laden team with those 3 guards and just their long, guys down low. To think that they came up, I believe it was just 5 offensive rebounds. If I hope I'm correct on that stat, but that was shocking to me. But Abilene Christian, they looked like they had a lot to play for and had a chip on their shoulder and really just made Texas uncomfortable. I had Texas in my Final Four, as I'm sure a lot of people did. And for Texas, really, they went through experiencing kind of the highest of highs, winning the Big 12 championship, to experience the lowest of lows, losing a game that they definitely shouldn't have. So certainly, that was a shock. And I really did think they were going to pull it off there down the stretch, because we saw them do that so many times this season, just come out hot. They have Andrew Jones who can knock it down anywhere on the court and hit a 3 in a pressure situation. So to be honest, I really thought they were going to come through. So I was very disappointed.
Morgan, with not just Texas in round 1, but the performances in round 2, the Big 12 losing, there's plenty to get to, but I want to skip over for a second to Baylor. And, there's not a ton to break down with Baylor-Hartford, but Baylor-Wisconsin, the Bears looked like the Bears of old for most of that game, especially in the first half. What did you see that you really liked out of Scott Drew's squad?
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. I think their defense, the turnover differential in that game, Drake, the Bears forced 14 turnovers, and they just had 4 turnovers, which is huge because, that was some of the problems that they were having when they were losing those games, particularly when they lost to Oklahoma State there in the Big 12 tournament, just kind of a little bit careless with the basketball. So to me, turnovers were the biggest kind of factor in that win for Baylor. I also think, looking at the stats, they significantly improved their 3-point shooting from that first round win over Hartford to, what they did against Wisconsin. And then you can't leave out what Matthew Meyer did for the Bears. Just outstanding play, 17 points, comes off the bench. Starting to get a lot of national recognition and national attention, which, you and I and a lot of Baylor fans, we've seen we've seen it all season, but a lot of respect for what he's done and able to really step up when, some guys weren't having hot nights. But I think this Baylor team is really poised to go all the way. And, I'm hoping that we get the national championship game that so many of us are hoping for and that we deserve, and having the 2 best teams on the court at the end of this.
MMT, Matthew Meyer time. Whenever he puts up 15 or more, it's impossible for Baylor to lose. That's for certain. Him and Flagler both, and Baylor was able to lead, or those two guys were able to lead Baylor past Hartford and Wisconsin. Looking at one of the bigger matchups that I really, really loved out of the round of 32 in the Big 12, I thought Oklahoma and the age and experience of the Sooners would give Gonzaga a bit more of a fight in that game. But really, do you think this speaks more to Gonzaga's talent or to Oklahoma just kind of falling apart in the end?
Let me just say that I think if any team is going to beat Gonzaga, maybe other than Baylor, you're going to need help from Gonzaga. I mean, they're going to have to mess up and make mistakes in order to lose, I think, at this point. I will say it was really impressive the way that Oklahoma came out. They really came out through the gates on fire, and we kind of thought for a second, okay, here we go. This is, when Gonzaga finally gets their first loss of the season. Austin Reeves put on a show, an outstanding performance, 27 points and 2 steals from him. And, you talk about that senior veteran presence, and he's just been such a consistent presence for Lon Kruger in so many ways, on the court, off the court, as a leader, and just the way he plays. But I think Gonzaga's defense, they really locked in, and the game just truly got away from the Sooners, which was unfortunate. And a little bit of it, too, I think, from Oklahoma. They didn't get that depth that we had seen from them, off the bench, and even some of their starters. I mean, they didn't get much from Brady Manick and Elijah Harkless. So, to me, I think at the end of the day, Austin Reeves, an absolutely outstanding player, but he can't do it all. He needed a little bit more support from his supporting cast there. So, yeah, in order to beat Gonzaga, it's going to be more than just one guy doing it. And yesterday, Austin Reeves, it just wasn't enough from his supporting cast.
And then, Morgan, also out of the West, you had a Kansas team that, looking at the shot quality analytics, that had a 50-50 shot at winning yesterday's game based on the shots that they took and the shots that USC took. But the Trojans just really made everything, and Kansas couldn't seem to buy a bucket last night. Did you get to see that game?
Oh, my gosh, did I see that game? And I'm like, how am I going to spin this in a positive way other than that? Kansas at the Jayhawks and Bill Self, man, these fans and everyone, they're going to be having nightmares over these Mobley brothers. They couldn't, the whole team couldn't miss a shot. And, for Kansas, they have Marcus Garrett, the reigning last year National Defensive Player of the Year, but they just were ice cold. I will say, though, not particularly about this game, but the way that Kansas did finish their season in the second half of this season. You look at the blue bloods, right? Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina having down years. For Kansas, I will say a positive of this, they were really able to have a strong second half of this season where they finished in the Big 12. That was a very disappointing loss last night, but, hey, at least they were able to get there because, that 4-game losing stretch, I think when you and I talked, it's like, is Kansas even going to make the tournament? So I think, for a lot of Kansas fans, of course, they have this presumption that they're just going to be there every year. But this year was kind of a gut check. And I think, that is kind of maybe the positive spin on it. At least they got there, at least they had the season they did. And David McCormick truly just is, in no doubt, he was the most improved player in this conference. And it was a lot of fun to watch him grow and progress. But yeah, I don't think there's too many positives to take away from last night other than, maybe it's going to give Kansas a chip on their shoulder, and they know moving forward they can't take anything for granted and can't take any teams lightly, when they do get that shot next year and things come around. So yeah, that was pretty disappointing, I will say.
Puzzling without a doubt. Kansas have played so well down the stretch. They get to the Big 12 tournament. The bottom falls out, the COVID hiccup, but you still thought that maybe they'd at least make it a game, and it never panned out against USC. But on the other side of things, Texas Tech. I loved the Texas Tech-Arkansas matchup, and I really thought that Tech would give Arkansas fits, and they did in the end. Tech had 3 or 4 chances to win the game, tie the game late, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, we've been saying, Tech as a 6 seed, they were one of the most dangerous 6 seeds there. Now, I don't know if that's fair to say with what we've seen from all these other lower seeds coming out, but Arkansas really, I hadn't seen much of them until the NCAA tournament, and their defense is, Drake, without a doubt, one of the most impressive defenses aside from Baylor's that I've seen all year. I mean, they would give any offense fits. And I think that, to me, was what was most impressive. But, yeah, I mean, for Kyler Edwards, that missed layup down the stretch, they just had so many opportunities down the stretch there and weren't able to get it done. Mac McClung, for him, he was held to just 9 points, which is also pretty rare. So, again, giving a lot of credit to that Razorback defense. But I guess, again, if we're going to take a positive away from this, to me, Terrence Shannon, he looked back to form and was outstanding with 20 points. But Texas Tech, I think a lot of the times when they get going, they're hot from the three, and they just weren't able to sustain that throughout the game, and just unfortunately a loss to a really good Arkansas team, which I know you were probably a bit happy about, but we'll leave it there.
Morgan, here's the deal. I would love Arkansas to win a national championship any year except for the years that I am attending Baylor. Right now, it's just me fighting for them to lose so they don't have to play Baylor and I don't have to deal with that. But that's how it will pan out after this weekend's games. But same story, different game with Oregon State, Oklahoma State.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this was anyone's game down the stretch, but I think it was, a really surprising loss to an Oregon State team who, believe it or not, was picked to finish last in the Pac-12. And I'm going to give a tip of the cap to the Pac-12 conference and what they've done to really shock the world here in March. I saw this meme on Twitter, and it was a SpongeBob meme. I don't know if you've seen this or anyone listening, but it was SpongeBob flexing, and it was the Pac-12 in the regular season, and there was no muscle. And then it was Pac-12 during March, and it was this giant blown-up SpongeBob, like the most muscular thing. I was like, oh, this could not be any more accurate. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. I probably didn't describe it as good as it actually was. But, I think for Oklahoma State, they just rushed a lot of shots at the end. I think Cade Cunningham mentioned that in his press conference. They started playing way too desperately on offense too early. So, and going off of that with Cade Cunningham, I think it's a bit disappointing for him, I'm sure, to his an end to his college career. But at the same time, for them to get where they did, to play in the Big 12 championship game, to come into the NCAA tournament as a number 4 seed, no one expected this out of them this year. You knew you had that star player, but you didn't know how the supporting cast would do around him. And I think you look to Avery Anderson and these other younger guys, and they're going to have a great core moving forward when Cunningham goes off, and we're going to see him soon as the first pick here in the NBA draft. But, I give a lot of credit to the way that Oklahoma State did come out there in the second half. I think on both ends of the floor, they looked much stronger, after Oregon State put up 44 points in the first half, which was the most that the Cowboys had given up all season in the first half. So, and playing these Big 12 teams, I mean, that's pretty shocking to think, of those numbers there. So, unfortunately, I think a young team just rushed down the stretch, didn't really have that veteran leadership to make those right decisions. And I thought they were going to come through in the second half when Cade Cunningham started knocking down threes. But, unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. And, here we go. Oregon State, another Cinderella story, moving on.
Same story, different game. Syracuse, West Virginia. I mean, it just feels like every Big 12 team was right there, had a shot, and the same thing happened to them. Bob Huggins and squad going out to a double-digit seed.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what Buddy Boeheim has done. I think he got hot at the right time coming into this tournament. During the second half of the season, he had been playing pretty well, but he dropped 30 against San Diego State, dropped 25 against West Virginia. They just couldn't really contain him there in the second half. I think also to the interior defense, what we saw from Syracuse, I mean, Derek Culver, just 7 points. I mean, that's really rare for him. And I don't think for West Virginia, you don't win a game when one of your leading scorers who can really take over a game and come up, big. It held to just 7 points. They were relying too heavily on their guards and perimeter shooting. So, for West Virginia, they're a team that has been so strong all season on second chance opportunities too. And you look at what they they had 19 offensive rebounds, but weren't able to really execute on those second chance opportunities. So definitely, again, another upset. and pretty shocked to see that one. But I wrote down this stat because I thought this was really impressive. So Syracuse, they've advanced to the Sweet 16 for the third time in 6 years as a 10 seed or higher.
Wow.
So you got to think, I mean, it's just the way that this team plays in March. And really, I mean, we shouldn't be as surprised maybe as we were that Syracuse is moving on and marched right over West Virginia.
Wow. Without a doubt, an unbelievable story with Jim Boeheim and Buddy Boeheim making it to the Sweet 16 as an 11 seed after a disappointing regular season and doing it again. I know they went to the Final Four as a double-digit seed a couple of years ago, and they're vying for that this season after the win against West Virginia. On the Baylor side of things, I've got to know, too, before that even, Morgan, how's your bracket doing?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I have Baylor and Gonzaga in my Final Four. So that's still doing all right, but I had Texas and Oklahoma State in my Final Four. So not doing so hot there, but somehow, some way. So I'm playing in a bracket challenge with my boyfriend. He set it up. So it's his family, my family, a few of our close friends, just playing for fun. And I'm still somehow third place. So I guess I'm not doing too shabby. I think, people who picked Ohio State and, some of these other teams that lost early, we had some people pick Virginia. We had someone pick Tennessee kind of off the whim, off the cuff. So I guess of course, I will say I picked Baylor to win it all. My bracket is called Check My Vitals. So there we go. So hopefully, it's still hanging in there, I will say somehow. How about you?
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, being a Big 12 homer, as we both are, I would just, let's 7 Big 12 teams in the Elite Eight. Not actually, but it was a good portion of Big 12 teams that I put in going deep in my bracket, and that has not panned out whatsoever. But still got Baylor and Gonzaga live. And speaking of that, Morgan, when you repick your Final Four, who are those 4 teams that you like to make it out of this Sweet 16 group?
Gosh, to be completely frank with you, I'm not looking at a bracket here, so I'd have to. I'm trying to visualize this in my head. So obviously, let's go Baylor and Gonzaga.
You got
help me out here.
Yeah, Loyola Chicago, Oregon State, Syracuse, and Houston.
Ooh, okay, so Houston. So I actually had another bracket, and I had Houston winning. So I'm Houston out of that region there. For sure is who I'm going with.
On the other side, still left is Michigan, Florida State, UCLA, and Alabama.
You know what? I like the way that Alabama is really playing right now. And that was, I have a lot of friends who are SEC homers, and so we kind of get in a little bit of predicaments and arguments. And I hadn't, again, working in the Big 12, hadn't seen them play too much, but the way that they came out last night, oh my gosh, they're really going to have to trip up and make mistakes to get beat. So it's crazy. Here I am picking these higher seeds where we've seen, these lower seeds and these Cinderellas really, really shine. But I think at the end of the day, let's go Houston and Bama and Baylor Gonzaga. That's my new Final Four.
I love it. And Morgan, I'm sure, even being in Colorado, there's plenty of hustle and bustle around the tournament and folks talking about it. I mean, what is the buzz right now? Do people like Gonzaga to win this whole thing?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So I took a lesson yesterday and had a couple other people in it with me. And, of course, we're all talking about our brackets. And 2 of them actually had, believe it or not, Baylor to win it all. So it was pretty fun when I told them I worked for the conference. And, I've gotten to see them play in person. So they've been really impressed from the Bears. But, yeah, I think, it's been so much fun. TV's on. I'm actually standing outside a little restaurant right now. And, it's packed, but spread out with people, if you will, just waiting for games, locked in and hanging out. So the buzz of March Madness is real here in Keystone, Colorado, as it is all over the country. So I've seen a lot of Illinois fans actually, believe it or not, that were repping some gear 2 days ago. So unfortunately, I bet they've maybe packed those things away and aren't repping that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend if you ever get the chance to come skiing during March Madness, it's the place to be.
And Morgan, are you locking it in? You sticking with the Bears for your national championship this year?
I am. I'm going with my gut. I've felt good about him since day one. I felt good about him, actually, Drake, since last year, when everything was stripped away from us. They were a team, them and Kansas, that could have made a Final Four run. And for Baylor to bring everyone back. And, to me, this is an even better team than we saw last year. They are my national champ, and, really hoping that it works out for Scott Drew and co., especially because they're our only Big 12 team remaining. So I'm hoping that we can redeem ourselves here and make Big 12 fans proud everywhere.
Well, Morgan, before we let you get out of here and back to the ski slopes, I got to ask you, Bear Games questions of the day. First one being, if you were in a TV show, right? So take all the TV shows you've ever seen, all the TV show characters. If you had to compare yourself to one of them, which character would you be?
Ooh. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so maybe not who I am closest to, but who I would want to be. Is that the question?
It's more of like who do you see yourself in?
Okay. I guess so. I've become a huge Yellowstone fan. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I think Beth. I wouldn't say I'm quite as rugged, and I guess I don't drink as much as she does, but I think she wears her heart on her sleeve. She has her opinions, and she's really driven, and kind of a lady who's very serious about her career, and puts that first. And puts family first. So to me, I think Beth Dutton, I see those similarities in myself of, my career has always been my priority, and my family's my number one priority. So Beth Dutton, I guess. Let's go with that.
Beth is locked in. And then your Bear Games questions of the day for our Disney movie madness. We've got Nightmare Before Christmas, which I don't know that I've seen it all the way through ever, actually, is facing The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay, so I've never seen the Nightmare Before Christmas, but I was a big Hunchback of Notre Dame fan back in the day as a kid, so I'll roll with that.
And then Lilo and Stitch or Princess and the Frog?
Ooh, Lilo and Stitch, for sure, no question.
Easily, without a doubt. Morgan Uber, Big 12 digital correspondent, thanks so much for joining the show today, all the way from the ski slopes of Colorado, breaking down everything in March Madness. It's always great to have you on.
Drake, thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to talking to you next week, and hopefully we're talking about another Bears W.
Let's do it again before the Final Four. Again, that was Morgan Uber, Big 12 digital correspondent, talking all things college basketball across the men's side. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention to the women. We'll do a little bit of a breakdown against Jackson State and the win that Baylor got in round one, the round of 64. And then we'll also talk about Baylor's matchup tonight on ESPN2 against Virginia Tech with a trip to the Sweet 16 of the Women's March Madness bracket on the line. All of that is tonight. We're going to break it down when we come back from this. I'm Drake Toll. We got Cole and Jack in here with us today. It is a beautiful day outside and beautiful day to be a basketball fan, and this right here is Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is game day for the Baylor Lady Bears as they take on Virginia Tech tonight. Virginia Tech is the 7th seed. They're in the Riverwalk region. So Virginia Tech women's basketball is one of those schools that they had at one point this season a skid where it was, well, how good is this team really? How good are they going to be, and will they be able to make it far in the tournament or even make it to the tournament? And they absolutely turned it on and responded to that with an emphatic yes. They got a round 1 victory against Marquette to start things off 70-63, a pretty solid Marquette team. Looking across the Virginia Tech schedule as we break things down in this game, they're 15-9 overall. They beat Richmond to start their year, had a solid start to their season. They got into ACC play though. They lost to Notre Dame by 6. Notre Dame, Muffet McGraw, they're not very good this season, not near as good as they have been in the past. Then they lost to Florida State by 10. They lost to Louisville by 4. Georgia Tech by 2. Wake Forest by 3, Notre Dame by 5, North Carolina State by 2. They lost 6 out of 7 games in a span, and then ended up beating the number 2 team in the country in overtime, North Carolina State, 83-71. Beat North Carolina, Pitt, Miami. I mean, they just start rolling through teams. Got really hot up until their final regular season game. They lost it by 5. Lost North Carolina State by 13. And then again, they beat Marquette 70-63 to start the tournament. And tonight, they get the number 5 team in the country, the Baylor Bears. Number 5 of the AP poll. Baylor, okay? The 2 seed facing Wisconsin, which the way that this thing shakes out, it'd be Baylor is the 5 seed, but then UConn is the 4 seed overall. You see what I'm saying here when you rank the teams out? But no, they didn't snake it. Baylor and UConn would have to play in the Elite 8, but somebody's got to win at some point. Team leaders in points per game for Virginia Tech, Elizabeth Kitley, 18.7 per game. She's their big man, number 33. Kidley, she's their go-to. She's going to be their go-to. 6'5" sophomore from Summerfield, North Carolina. From Northwest Guilford High School, she was 2021 First Team All-ACC, 2020 ACC Freshman of the Year, 3-time ACC Freshman of the Week, and set a program record with a 57% field goal percentage for an ACC season and 41 blocks. Those career honors all for Elizabeth Kitley, who Kim Mulkey talks about in her post-game press conference. On top of Kitley, though, not just her, they've got Asia Shepherd, 17.8 points per game, almost 18 points per game, an unbelievable tandem in those two. Kitley also leads the team in rebounds. She averages a double-double with 18.7 points per game, 10.5 rebounds per game, and then the leader in assist, Georgia Amore. She has 4.5 assists per game, and Asia Shepherd has 3. Those are the 3. Asia Shepherd, Georgia Amore, and Elizabeth Kitley. You got to watch out for tonight for Virginia Tech when Baylor faces off against the Lady Hokies. Now, do note, Asia Jones, 2.1 blocks per game. That's better than Elizabeth Kitley's 2 blocks per game. Asia Jones is going to be another force to be reckoned with. She stands at 6'3" from Sacramento, California. She transferred from USC. So another one of those players that Baylor will have to watch out for in their game against Virginia Tech tonight. Looking across what Baylor did against Jackson State, 101-52 was the final in that one. They held Jackson State 52 points. They held Jackson State at just 24 in the first half. Going into the fourth quarter, Jackson State only had 35 points. The game was far, far out of hand by then. It was 80-34 going into the first quarter, 80-34. And Jackson State was able to crawl their way, 80-35. I'm sorry, Jackson State was able to crawl their way to a 101-52, 49-point deficit. Leading scorer for Jackson State had 15. They had 2 with, they had 3 with double digits, but for Baylor, on the Baylor side, ended up having 5 players, in double digits, including Dejanay Carrington, Jordan Oliver, Moon Urson, Queen Egbo, and Nalissa Smith. Nalissa, 18 points, 10 rebounds, put up a double-double. 24 points from Moon Urson. That's a career high for Baylor. They shot 49%, 6 for 15 behind the arc. Baylor is not used to making 6 3-pointers per game. This women's team doesn't like to fire it from deep very often. On the other side, Jackson State, they held them to just 2 for 19 behind the arc, 10.5%. Free throw shooting, Jackson State was 8 of 18. Baylor, 19 for 27. 70%, not what Kim Mulkey necessarily wants, but the Lady Bears got to the line 27 times, out-rebounded Jackson State 59-35, 20-13 on the offensive glass, 8-5 in blocks. Turnovers, Baylor had 16 of those compared to 20 for Jackson State, which I know Kim Mulkey wants to cut that number down too a little bit. But when you put up 101 points, you score at will like that. You're going to turn the ball over here and there. And then tonight, Baylor squaring off in a matchup between a 2 seed and a 7 seed on ESPN2. Give me the Bears by 20 in this one. Give me the Bears by 20. It's a game where they are favored and they should win. They're the number 5 team in the country and they're on an absolute roll right now. Virginia Tech is 10-9 all time in the second round of the NCAA tournament. They're a good team. They're a great team. But it's going to be Baylor tonight. They're just too strong. And I bet you Kim Mulkey agrees with me. Speaking of her, here is Kim Mulkey in the pregame press conference, the top 10 minutes from that pregame press conference where she talks a little bit about the game tonight with Virginia Tech. Check this out.
Okay, Kim, looking into Virginia Tech, I was just looking at their schedule. I think they lost 6 out of 7 games back, in January, December and January, and then they end that by beating NC State. Their schedule is a little bit sporadic. What do you see with them? And is it kind of hard to pin them more so than it normally would be?
Well, I see a very confident basketball team. I see a team that has size and a great player in, all conference player in Kitley. But I also see Shepherd and her teammates on the perimeter that, they shoot a lot of threes. So they have great balance. And a lot of times when you see teams, they're either those that shoot a lot of threes don't have post game. Well, they have a tremendous post game. Baines is a great player with Kitley. They're well coached. I know Coach Kenny, when he was at James Madison, we played against each other in Florida in a tournament. So good guy, good coach, and they're playing very well.
With they're up there in the national rankings, not quite up there with Iowa State and Arkansas, but close. And when you mention them in the sentence with those two teams, does that kind of get your players' attention in terms of three-point shooting?
Well, they're totally different styles. Now, you have to remember, Iowa State has post players that shoot the three. Virginia Tech doesn't. They have post players that will face you up, that can, just turn and score right in your face. So it's totally different types of ways that they're shooting the three. Same way with Arkansas. Arkansas doesn't have and utilize the post. They screen a lot. Virginia Tech can score from all positions, but just the number of threes that they shoot and make reminds you of those two teams, but the style of play is totally different.
Kim, what has made Baylor such a good defensive team this year? And what's your assessment specifically of your post defense and your three-point defense as you get ready to take on Kitley and Shepherd and the Hokies?
Well, we've not faced a player like Kitley in our league. We've faced size through the years. We had Lauren Cox, who was about her size every day in practice for the last 4 years. But she's a tremendous talent, faces you up, has a step-back move. She plays in the ACC, so she's seeing all kinds of defenses every night. What makes our defense what it is? I just think it's a mindset that, from one team to the next, you understand when you come to Baylor that the fastest way to get on the floor is to play defense. And we'll take practices, and the majority of our practices will be spent without a basketball in our hand, because I just believe that, guys, defense in all sports is so crucial because you're going to play teams that are as good or more talented than you on the offensive end. And the only hope you have, if you're having an off night offensively, the only hope you have is to defend and rebound. And I just think anybody that scouts us through the years that I've been at Baylor, that's probably the first two things you're going to write is those guys will defend you and play hard, and those guys will rebound the basketball.
Moon, what's emerged as kind of the identity of this year's Baylor team? Is it any different than it's been the last couple of years?
I think we have 5 players on the floor that are just athletic. Like we said, we don't necessarily have the size this year like we've had in the past with Lonnie and LC, but our posts are super athletic. They can jump with anybody. They can also get out and shoot the mid-range. So, and then outside the guards, our guards, we just get in there. We can attack. We can also shoot. So I think that's the biggest difference in the teams this year. We're just athletes.
And Dejanay, for you, Kim is such a man-to-man coach, but with a player like Kitley, is there ways where you can help down, or how can you help in the post area?
I mean, we play team defense, so no one's ever going to be left on an island by themselves to just try and guard. Whether it's me or whether it's Moon, Trinity, Dee, whoever it is, we're always going to help if we can. Different in a variety of ways. I'm not going to give away all of our secrets, but we're going to help our post in a variety of ways where she doesn't see it coming.
And Kim, for you, is she like any of the other players in the Big 12? I mean, she's got about the same size as Charlie, but Charlie's kind of a different outside player.
No, and I said that at the beginning, Jerry. We've not faced a player that has her skill set. She's every bit of 6'5". Now, she's not a three-point shooter, but she'll face you up at the mid-range, the foul line, the baseline, step-back move, has multiple moves. We've not faced anybody like her. And I'm trying to think if we've even faced anybody in non-conference this year like her. The closest that I can come to is to tell you that Lauren Cox, somewhat like a Lauren Cox type of player.
Can you talk about your own team and the unselfishness? I mean, obviously you have a superstar on your team, but it seems like a different second player, third player steps up every night for you guys.
Well, I think we have depth that doesn't get talked about very much. We have a variety of ways that we can attack you offensively. We have those players that can drive and are super quick. We can shoot the three ball. And then we have the athletic post player that can leap with the best of them and run the floor with the best of them. You adjust and you adapt to the talents of your team. We've got length at the point guard with D.D. Richards, a totally new position for her and who's just done super well this year for us. And, it's competitors. They're competitors and they play well together. And it's fun to coach them because they want to win and they really, really complement each other.
Hey, Coach, at this point in the year, how much are you changing your game plan for the other teams, and how much is it understand what they're doing but being comfortable doing what's gotten you this far all season long?
Well, I don't think any coach, men, women, you don't change who you are. I think you tweak things. When you see things that they're running, you may tweak a thing defensively, how you're going to guard it. You may put a quick hitter in on the offensive end. You may add one inbound play, but who you are for the majority of a basketball game is who you've been all year. And that's why I go back to defense. What we don't know is, are we going to be as good offensively every game as we may have been the night before? We don't know that. That's just the greatness of sports. You just don't know. But the one constant that can always remain is defense and rebounding.
And Coach, with the tweaking, I know you've won championships by scoring inside the paint, not worrying about putting up an abundance of threes. If they start to catch fire tomorrow, are you going to need the two players on this call to be able to make those outside shots, or are you comfortable just keeping going inside the paint?
Well, if you've watched us play, we don't have the back to the basket post player that just goes down in there and buries you. We have the one that will go down in there, face you up, take you off the dribble, run the floor. So we're a different team than we were the last 4 years. As I said, you change with your personnel. We're not going to change what we do offensively, because I really feel at this point of the season, both teams have seen every defense. We can't go create a defense that none of us have seen. You've either seen man-to-man, you've seen double teams, you've seen zones, you've seen every zone imaginable. There's nothing either team has not seen defensively.
What's your assessment of your guys' three-point defense right now as you get ready to play a team that likes to shoot the threes in Virginia Tech?
I mean, I think we're the best defensive team in the country. So whether that's inside, outside, I think that we can do it all. Each night in the Big 12, we've had to guard the three, whether that's one player or five players like with Iowa State. So I think we've had plenty of shots at it, and I think we're going to be prepared. We haven't practiced yet today, but I know that the coaches are going to come in with the right game plan, and we're just going to have to execute it. But I have full confidence in us.
And finally, Moon, you know what a national championship team looks like, feels like. Do you look around your locker room? Do you look around your practice court these days and go, yeah, I think this can be another one?
Absolutely. And I think we're still getting better, but we do so well with each other right now, and how we play together and how we feed off of one another. We have the potential. It's there. We just got to stay focused, and we have to believe in ourselves and continue to play as a team.
You agree with that, Kim?
Mark, let me say this. I've been doing this 36 years. Started when I was 23, and that's not even counting the times I was a player. This field is wide open for a national championship. There's no dominant team. I bet the committee, when they sat there, really had to think about, okay, not only are we wide open, we had to deal with pandemic. We had 6 games canceled. 4 of those 6 games were against UConn, Oregon, and 2 other ranked teams. So I just firmly believe, probably for the first time in many, maybe in my career of coaching, those numbers in front of a school's name mean absolutely nothing. And because it's wide open, our motto is, why not us again? We've come into this tournament. Moon's been on those teams where we were the favorite, and we've won it as being a favorite, and we've also lost it as being a favorite. So the motto this year is, why not us? Who is it going to be?
Why not us? Who is it going to be? From Kim Mulkey in the pregame press conference. They take on Virginia Tech tonight at 6 p.m. on ESPN2. She said it. That number beside these teams means absolutely nothing this year. Yeah, anybody can beat anybody. It's a weird year, women's college basketball, much more parity than we're used to, and there is no one clear-cut team that could win a championship. I mean, anybody could, but there's not one that will, without a doubt. On the men's side, Baylor, Gonzaga. Those are the two people are circling right now. On the women's side, you can pick from a pool of 6 or 8 teams that could win a national championship, and almost no one would be surprised. That's rare. Kim Mulkey said it. That's rare. You don't typically find that. Years like this don't come around often. Well, it's one of those this year. I'm Drake Toll, Jack, Cole. We're all right here on Up Tempo. When we come back, this day in sports history, celebrity birthdays, we round things out. This is Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
And welcome back to the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Tuesday. How about it? Game day for women's basketball today as well. All right. Jack and Cole, celebrity birthdays. Today, March 23rd. Big day in birthdays. Big day in birthdays. And by big day, I mean I haven't looked yet to see whose birthday it is, but we're gonna see. How old is Kyrie Irving today, folks?
31.
31?
29.
He's 29 years old. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe he was that young. Couldn't believe it. Typical gamer is how old today? Typical gamer. Gamer is a YouTube star.
Okay. 28. 32.
He is 29. Ah, so close, you guys. Quando Rondo.
Rapper.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no clue. 25.
Okay.
27.
22. Quando Rondo.
Whoever that
Perez Hilton. Perez Hilton. Blogger.
45.
45.
35.
43 for Perez Hilton today. 43. Aisha Curry. Cooking up in the stew.
34.
Okay.
33.
32. 32.
Oh.
Randall Park, the guy that plays Asian Jim.
Whoa. Come on. He's more than just Asian Jim. Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, he's also Jimmy Woo in WandaVision.
I'm going to go with 34.
34?
33.
47.
Whoa.
Old guy.
Jeez.
Think about like when he was Asian Jim, though. That was probably 7 or 8 years ago, and he was, it kind of puts more perspective on it. He's young. Looks young. Shaka Khan's birthday is today. Shaka Khan.
I don't know, 42.
Okay.
58.
68.
Whoa.
Mike Will.
I did not know enough.
Mike Will's birthday is today.
The producer?
Mike Will made it.
34.
Okay.
37.
32. 32 today from Mike Will. Mike Will made it. This day in sports history, the 39th Grand National. Fred Hobson aboard 15-1 shot. Austerlitz wins by 4 lengths from Congress. What year?
1850. 1968.
1877. 1877. The 50th Grand National. George Mawson aboard 40-1 outsider play player easily wins by 10 lengths from Frygate.
What in the...
You should remember this. This is easy.
I don't know, man. 1888, I remember.
1888! Freaking Cole was there. Freaking Cole was there.
Oh, man. That's impressive.
Cricket World Cup, Wanderers Stadium, Johannesburg RSA. Ricky Ponting scores 140 as no defending champions Australia beat India by 125 runs. Oh, before you can answer it, it's 2003. That's the end of the show. You know what that means. I'm Drake Toll. Cole and Jack have been running the show today from the mothership. Thank you guys for doing that. My Topo Chico glass goes out to you boys. I'm Drake Toll. Cole and Jack we'll bring you guys back tomorrow, right? Oh, they're both shaking their head no. No matter what, you come back at 11 a.m. We'll have some more up-tempo for you. This has been all of it from 11 to 2. Up-tempo.